Welcome to the Fringe podcast presented by Imperial Golf. We are your hosts, Brandon Tritech, JT Watson, John Snyder. We're already having a good time.
Already struggling with his beer.
Cheers. It's dented.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, hopefully have a good podcast for you here. If not, we apologize in advance.
Lower your expectations.
I plan on it being awful, actually.
That's usually how it goes. It turns into a mess pretty quick.
It's fun for us, though,
Yeah.
because there's beers.
Plenty of BS.
So there was a game this weekend. This last
There
weekend.
is.
2 games, actually.
I watched it.
Yeah.
One of them.
I also watched one of them. I watched one of them for about 10 minutes until Brock Purdy got hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then I immediately stopped watching because I knew how it was gonna
yeah,
go.
that
was
just
so predictable.
sucked because it fizzled real quick.
I really was hoping
wanted-
it'd be a good game.
Yeah, I did too. Yeah, I wanted the same thing. And we were kind of faux 49ers fans for that game too.
Right.
As hard as that is to do, being a Packers fan.
Yeah, with how much the 49ers have destroyed him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
The last.
I was going to say, it was really hard to root for either one of those fan bases for me.
49ers.
And now
or
I'm
Eagles,
like,
you mean?
let's go Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like, honestly. Like, at this point, I'm just like, Philly fans are just, they're the hardest for me to
I think
root
they're
for.
really pleasant people.
That says a lot about you, John.
Well, they're like me. But my wife is a huge Eagles fan right now.
Oh,
Of
gosh.
course she is. She's from Pennsylvania.
She's basically anything not Chiefs.
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, in her defense, she's a Raiders fan living in this town, which I'm not much better being a Broncos
Who's
fan.
from Pennsylvania. So
But yeah,
that's
she's
funny.
very perplexing.
Yeah,
that way.
for sure. In more than one way.
Not
For
that
sure.
she cares, because she's sitting on a beach somewhere right now.
She is. So it's probably good to start this off with my wife takes lots of vacations without me. So that's fun. No, she needs it. She works hard too.
She does. Very hard.
Yeah. So,
Often too hard, probably.
oh yeah, she does. She's
Works
away
hard,
at
play hard.
She's away at the beach for a few days, and it's kind of funny because it's an old group, like a group of friends that she met while on a vacation. That's what's crazy about it. It's
They're
like,
all 76.
that sounds really reliable. I know. Yeah.
That's when you know you may take too many vacations. If you
Yeah.
have a group of friends that you meet on vacation.
Hey, Phil!
Yeah. Yeah, right.
What are you doing here?
Yeah.
I never work.
Well, they're all like older people. They're all like, it's like older married couples, which is very typical. Like,
Yeah.
that's usually who she meets. And they're all like, why isn't John here? Why is John never here? And they think I'm fake.
Is John real?
Yeah, that's kind of what they're at. And I'm like, yep.
Have fun, wife.
Yep, have fun.
I'll keep working.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
speaking of
like a
wives, I just
bum.
apologize to mine. Eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed I didn't have my ring on. I forgot it at home today. I'm still married. Don't worry.
Literally
Everything's
nobody
fine.
noticed until now.
Yeah.
So.
But
Way
now
to
I
bring
pointed it
attention
out,
to it.
But
We could just switch cameras and I could throw my ring over to you. And then we
Yeah,
could like
just
go back
switch
and
it every
forth.
now and again.
Yeah.
Joe was like,
Yeah.
uh-oh.
And then we see a random flicker in the camera.
Yep.
Just fly by.
I've lost my wedding ring twice.
really,
Once on my honeymoon, again.
Oh.
Same ring. We bought it again, or she brought it again, at work, and then
Like,
no more
lost
ring.
it.
Yeah.
You had to replace it.
Yeah.
You know,
how'd you lose it on your honeymoon?
Snorkeling.
Oh,
At
Is that what they call it?
that wasn't
Yeah.
smart.
Whoops.
Is that what the kids are
Working on
calling
my
it these days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I lost mine once on the golf course, and it was gone for months, and was mowing the fairway one day, and I heard this clink, clink, like in one of the blades, and I was like, oh! And I got out, and I found it. There was like a little nick in it, like months later. I was just like, or someone maybe brought it into the shop or something, but yeah, and then I ended up upgrading a couple years ago to a much more like steel band that's a lot more comfortable.
What's worse is when your wife loses the diamond out of her wedding ring.
That was recent, wasn't it?
And we still haven't replaced it because I get
That's
too much money.
Bit of
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
Cubic
So,
zirconia. She'll
insurance
never know.
tip for all you out there: schedule your jewelry on your home policy. I am an insurance agent.
We didn't
That's
do
good
that.
advice. Yes,
That thing we did not do.
because
We
if you-
messed that one up.
And it's now sitting in the grass somewhere at Falcon Lakes, and
Oh,
there's
boy.
nothing I can do about it.
Oh,
yeah,
man.
So if you schedule
So-
your jewelry,
Yeah.
you can. If a stone falls out, it gets replaced with no deductible.
We're replacing ours with
Yeah.
money
Exactly.
from our own pockets.
So you might think,
Man.
like
Yeah.
$50 a year to schedule a $6,000 ring. Well,
Yeah.
Brandon's like
probably
a
worth it.
real adult.
I am now the real world example of why that insurance is worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Get yourself a personal articles floater.
So
My,
now-
my wife should have lost hers several times because she just places it in the weirdest spots.
yeah.
And sometimes she'll do that, and I'll move it back to a box just to like stress her out for a day. It's like, you're gonna lose it, man. At some point.
And then you start like saying really passive things like, "How much do you care about me? Yeah, you care about this marriage?"
And if you loved me, you might actually wear that thing.
Yeah. Psychological warfare with your own wife.
I mean, it's been 20 years, but whatever.
I thought my wife would lose hers in the bar because it's like, I mean, obviously
Yeah.
bartending, you're constantly, you know,
Right.
hands are wet, wash glasses, grab new, and like, but it just fell out while she was cart girling at
Yeah.
Falcon Lakes. So
Well, another suggestion.
some old retired guy just found a fun weekend.
If you're so
Vegas!
so there's a stone out there called moissanite, which is
You just pissed a lot of people off that hate the word moist, but continue.
it's not moissanite.
I know.
It's
It's
moissanite.
close enough.
Okay, Will Ferrell, you don't need to celebrate the point.
Yes.
But
Moist.
so moissanite is very, very similar to diamond, except it beats diamond in a lot of categories that they rate gems on,
Yeah.
and it's a tenth of the price.
Yeah.
Is that the one Leo DiCaprio was trying to get, like with the blood diamond or whatever?
I have no idea.
No? Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about. So
Shut up, JT.
I know zero about pop culture. I hardly watch movies, so if you ask me movie references,
Do you know who
Probably.
Leonardo DiCaprio
Yes.
is? Okay.
well, of course I know who. Leo
Got
is.
it.
So yeah, it'd be something to look into if your wife is okay with it. Don't surprise her with the moissanite if she wants a diamond. I'll say that much.
I'm
And
going.
create a new name.
I'm
for
going
it if
full
you give
blown
it to her.
plastic. I don't know what you're talking about. Polished plastic.
I got this out of a bubblegum machine.
That's the thing right there. Like the ring you can suck on.
the ring pops.
The ring pops.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah. She would love that.
It's a solid 20 minutes of distraction.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bringing it back to the NFL,
Yeah, where were we?
your wife's cheered for the Eagles, obviously.
Yeah.
We live in Kansas City.
I mean,
Go
one
Chiefs.
last defense to her. Her whole family's from upper northeast
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
No,
so
she's got roots there.
Like in
It's
family
completely
Mercer Field.
understandable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're Eagles fans. So.
She has a reason.
For
A lot
sure.
of Giants fans too, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm almost cheering for the Chiefs just because I feel like based on how much this city depends on Kansas City Chiefs for the mood.
Oh, you feel it.
If they lose, like I feel like your risk of getting shot or stabbed or mugged like triples.
No, it wasn't that
Here?
bad when the
Here.
Bucks beat them.
No,
No?
you're talking about Philly, dude.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, if Philly
Philly, of
loses, they're
course,
going to
yeah.
burn the city to the ground.
And if Philly wins, they're going to burn the city to the ground.
Yes.
Either way, there's screwed.
Speaking of insurance, Philadelphia residents.
Double it now.
I'm hoping for the first ever tie in a Super Bowl.
Oh, be quiet.
That's impo-
I know. Just let it simmer. Let it simmer.
No, so I had this
4 full
unique
quarters
thought.
of voter.
I had this unique
Two
thought
games.
the other day.
Yeah.
Is that think of the dynasties we've seen in football in general, right? You can go back to the Packers
Yeah.
in the 60s, and then it was the Steelers, Niners, Cowboys.
Still trying to get a Bart Starr jersey. But that's another discussion.
And then we had the Patriots that kind of took over 2 decades, and
Yeah.
everybody got tired of it. And now we just happen to live in a city that's on the precipice of what would be the dynasty in the 2020s. That's kind of unique and cool to think about living here. Because, like, the moment they won and beat the Bengals, I stepped out to the back porch, and it sounded like a war zone. It was just like
Yeah.
fireworks going
Yeah.
off and stuff. And it is rather cool.
Yeah.
The way that these fans are, and I think it is pretty neat. So yeah, I've got an Eric Berry jersey because I think that dude was the shit, and
Yeah.
beating cancer and becoming a Pro Bowler, like that's just
Yeah.
amazing,
Yeah.
awesome dude. And so I'll be rocking that in a couple Sundays and cheering hard for him for sure.
Yeah, it's cool to be in that environment. It's just like being a city that's experiencing winning
Yeah.
on a repeat basis. Because, like, the Royals, I mean,
Because clearly
the Royals showed up and then they went back to being the Royals.
they did, yeah.
And so, like,
Yeah.
Right.
it's good that they have something to really be excited about. I mean, we should mention sporting, too, because, like, soccer
Heck,
team's
yeah.
always pretty good here.
And the women's
But, like,
team
it's just not-
went to the
it's-
finals,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I didn't
And
know
talking
that.
to people that are more in the know about them, they had kind of an unprecedented season. I mean, it's brand new, but they're clearly getting backing. Mahomes and his wife have invested in that team. They're going to have technically the first purpose-built female stadium in the United States. So the soccer stadium that's being built is going to be the first stadium of its kind that's purpose-built for women's sports, which I found pretty awesome.
And I think I drove past the construction on Wednesday.
Yeah.
It's kind of like down by the riverfront.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
down
effectively
635.
like going to be sort of a horseshoe, and so one goal is going to face the river. Like the renderings are pretty neat.
I haven't seen any of this. Apparently, I need to look this up.
It's cool. It's cool to see this stuff happening, and eventually, I think the Royals will probably be moving downtown too. So, because with Mahomes' success, man, like when have you not seen a franchise QB with that level of success have a new stadium built during his tenure? Like, I kind of feel like, if not greatly renovated, they're going to be doing something to Arrowhead in the next decade.
Yeah.
Which will be fun to see. It'll be fun to be here while that happens.
Doing something to it, you mean, or completely replacing it?
That I don't know. I mean, typically when you do a complete rebuild like Buffalo, they budgeted like $1.3 billion. But that also means taxpayer dollars.
Yeah.
To some extent, it has to.
Yeah.
Right. I know there's a lot of nostalgia with Arrowhead, so this
normal.
fan base won't.
Yeah.
I have a hard time seeing them being like, yeah, just tear it down and start over.
Yeah.
I mean, it is an iconic venue, but it's also one of the oldest in sports right now.
Yeah,
so.
the $1 billion plus stadiums becoming normal.
That's
now.
normal now.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
unfortunately, it's just kind of the way it is.
With Vegas, I mean, I remember thinking when Arizona did their new stadium, and they had like the rollout field that was mind blowing when they did that.
It
initially.
was.
And now we're seeing like that's just kind of like piddly sticks anymore. It's still cool, but like the amount of money put into these stadiums, like U.S. Bank and now the Raiders Stadium in Vegas, and what's the name of that stadium? Do they have a name for it?
Yeah.
U.S. Bank is. I'm thinking, Minnesota, but
Yeah.
I didn't remember if they had a name for it.
As long as Arrowhead doesn't go full Soldier Field and just like build around the old stadium and it just looks awful.
Well, they might do that because they don't want to screw up the sound reverberation.
Yeah, right.
And all the notoriety of being the loudest venue.
Well, they would just have to do what the Seahawks did. I mean, they redesigned theirs.
Yeah, that's true.
Purposely to trap sound. So
that's a cool stadium.
It is very.
I haven't been in it, but I've driven by it a bunch of times.
I got to go to a game. I mean, I went to a couple games in the Kingdome as a kid, and that place was just immensely loud. And then going to one at Quest Field in the later years, and I sat in like the Hawk's Nest where it's kind of got bench seating, and it was impressive, man. Like, but if you walk up to the upper levels, the steepness because of them having to like trap the sound, it is like freaky at the 300 level. How I mean, you feel like even sitting down, you could fall forward out of your seat. Arrowhead's not nearly like that. But of course, what was it, built in the 70s? Something like that, like Kaufman and Arrowhead. So
yeah, it seems similar to like Lambeau with the way it's laid out.
Well, that's how they were built back then.
Yeah,
I've been in U.S. Bank Stadium at Minnesota. I went to a game. We were 300 level and like
new one.
Yeah, the new one.
Oh wow!
And I mean, the stairs are. You get a 300 level. The stairs are almost straight vertical.
Yeah,
it's just. Like you step on it and half your foot is on a stair. That's how skinny the stairs are.
That's crazy.
That'd be bad for me.
I toured
big old size 13s. Half my foot's off the stair.
Yeah,
I'm falling.
I got a women's size 6. I'm good. No, I toured Lucas Oil. I've been through Mile High, and those. I mean, it's kind of what you would expect.
Mile High School. We went there for the Raiders Denver game.
Yeah. Where were you guys seated?
Oh, nosebleeds. We were up there. We were like right below the press box.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool experience.
It's a neat.
And they were cool fans to hang out with. By the way, like because like there's a healthy rivalry there, right? I mean, it's probably not quite like Kansas City and the Raiders, but like Denver, Denver and the Raiders. I mean, that was pretty cool. How we were just all like everyone was hanging out with everyone at that stadium. It was pretty cool. You had like all these Raiders fans hanging out with all these Broncos fans.
When neither one of you were playing for anything.
That's true. We're both awful.
Week 18, nobody's making the playoffs. Let's just get drunk. Have fun.
I don't know why I forgot. Like that actually is a huge part of it.
For sure.
You're awful. What's the point?
Right.
Let's go get drunk.
Yeah.
Did you see that video from earlier in the season where that guy got tossed down the stairs at a stadium, at an NFL stadium? I don't remember which teams were playing, but it was like
this year.
this year, it was like a 350-pound dude just got tossed upper deck. Like they're almost at the
By
wall.
multiple people.
By one guy. He just shoved him down the stairs, and he rolled
Well, he is 350.
head over heels, and he just gets back up and comes back for more. Like,
He is 350.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It was a big dude, but it was,
That'd be
you know, how
did not
steep
see
those
that.
stairs are. I mean,
Yeah.
he's lucky he was able to get a hand on a railing as he was going by. Otherwise, he probably would have just kept going right over onto the 200 level.
I mean, with the amount of drinking that goes on at games, it's shocking that stuff doesn't happen a lot more.
Right.
It's shocking to me how crazy like people's tolerance is at games. Like, you watch watch people drink and tailgating and stuff, especially Chiefs games, right? Because tailgating there is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But like, he's like, I mean, you had like 16 beers. Like, how are you not blacking out by now? Like after 4, I'm like, I'm good. I'm buzzed.
Did you guys watch any of the skills competition last night?
For
Yesterday?
the Pro Bowl,
Pro Bowl?
I didn't catch any of that. No, unfortunately. I
So,
did catch a statement that I thought was pretty funny from Mr. Derek Carr
yeah.
in that interview. Who was it? Ryan Clark that came up to him.
Yeah.
Was like, "Oh man, have you ever been that on fire in Vegas?" He's like, "No, that's probably why I'm going somewhere else." It's like, oh man, that's a shot.
Sense of humor, though.
Yeah.
Is Aaron Rodgers going to the Raiders?
I don't know, dude.
No.
I mean, Brady retiring.
Devontae's trying to pull him.
Of course he is.
Yeah.
Of course he is.
Yeah, he had Derek Carr thrown to him. He's like,
I will say, I think
that
the
sucks.
Packers
He loves Derek
need to
Carr.
rip the Band-Aid
They're old
off.
teammates.
yeah.
You know, I think Green
Huh?
Bay needs to rip the Band-Aid off. It's feeling a lot.
Well, I
like
think
Favre.
they are. They've pretty much blatantly said it at this point without actually saying it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So either he's going to retire.
They've said
or-
they're ready to move on.
Yeah.
That's pretty clear. Like you're like, all right, bye.
Well, you guys are Packers fans. I mean, at this point, you feel like Jordan Love can win you 8 games probably with the talent around him.
Okay.
The silence says a lot.
He has
It-
improved significantly.
And I think not enough to judge yet
Yes.
is the best way to say that.
Yeah.
Way too little to judge on. Like that one game against Kansas City,
Right.
people were crucifying him, including
Well, yeah,
Packers
but he
fans.
had like 3
It's
days
like-
notice to prepare.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying. It was like, come on. Like, you just got
Can't-
thrown into a situation he wasn't at all ready for.
Sure.
And they actually played a game, weirdly, even though, like, the offense was awful for 3 quarters.
right. It was close.
And he still scored a touchdown.
It's the
Yeah, he still
Chiefs,
threw a
not-
touchdown.
Not the Texans.
Yeah.
I mean, they were playing
That's
a
what I'm saying.
legitimate.
What are you saying about the Texans?
They're terrible.
They're terrible.
Yeah. I know.
Sorry, did I not? Oh, was I sugarcoating it?
Yeah.
They're awful.
Awful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's like we got to see him play half a season,
Yeah.
in my mind.
At least.
We just don't
yeah.
know.
and I
10
think
to
we
15
need
games.
better coaching on the defensive and special team side of things
Yeah.
to improve the team as a whole. Because like on paper, the team this year is supposed to be a top 3 defense,
Mm-hmm.
and they ended up top 15, I think. But
Mm-hmm.
they were pretty disappointing, especially against the run.
Yeah.
Good pass defense overall, but
Yeah.
They figured it out towards the end.
yeah, they got a lot better as the season went on. But
I mean, it shows how used to relative winning we are at Green Bay that they can have eight losses and still almost make it.
yeah,
I mean, it was like quite a run at
one
the
game
end.
away,
you
but
It
know?
was, yeah.
Like, and I'm glad it didn't happen because it would have been bad.
we would have played San Francisco
Like,
round 1.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
like
yeah,
Brock
true.
Purdy healthy and that whole dynamic, they would have
Yeah.
smoked us.
Yeah, that would have been a bad game.
yeah. and so
Aaron
something-
Rodgers would have had his tail between his legs after the first quarter.
Going back to Brock Purdy, so I'm from Ames, Iowa. Big Iowa State fan. Saw Brock Purdy
Go Hawks.
play for 4 years. Yeah, obviously have a Hawkeye on the other side there. That's why we have JT in the middle, so we don't
Yeah.
fist fight when we
Hey,
talk football.
we became unified with the 49ers.
yeah, exactly.
through 2 players.
Yeah.
So I think with Brock Purdy getting injured, it just went to show how important to the team he actually was.
Oh, yeah.
Because the narrative was, it's like, Brock Purdy's not actually as good as everyone's saying. It's just, the system is great and they have a great coach.
Yeah.
You can plug in any serviceable quarterback and they'll be successful.
No.
We kind of saw the difference.
That's not true.
Yeah.
I think no. Purdy is clearly intelligent, and he makes a lot of the right decisions. But in Shanahan's offense, he's also really good at prioritizing 1 to 2 read type
Right.
plays. and Brock is smart enough to go through them. And
his composure is amazing.
it is for a
Yeah.
young kid like that. What is he? 22, 23?
He's
Oh,
like
he's
12.
23, I
But
think.
yeah.
he looks 13.
Did you see that meme with like all? It was like, was it just 4 quarterbacks? Because I think it was like Mahomes and Josh Allen, and it's like at the time they were just showing like all these quarterbacks when they were in high school, and that showed Brock Purdy with the 49ers.
I didn't see that one.
You
That's
didn't
pretty
see that
funny.
meme? That was pretty
No,
funny.
that's. I mean, it was. I thought it was really neat that as we hit the divisional round, there wasn't a quarterback over 30 years old.
Oh yeah.
I was like, you know what? Finally, we're getting into the new generation of QBs and talent, and Tom finally said, "See ya." Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thanks for the memories.
Hopefully, he doesn't pull a Brett Favre.
Deuce. No, not this time. He's done. He's done.
Well, yeah, and I think Brock Purdy was the youngest quarterback to make a conference championship game.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, something like that. It was
He's
really
just over 23 years old.
right.
23 and
You see George Kittle's
months.
comment after that? People way overreacted to that after their loss. 'Cause they were asking about the quarterback, with the injury with him, and then like the loss of the quarterback, and George Kittle was just like, honestly, it really sucks or something like that, and everybody like got really freaked out. So like, well, you're trash talking the rest of your quarterback. No, quarterbacks.
Well, kind of. It's
like
fourth string. Like
it's
you're
like,
not going to
yeah.
get.
It's like, yeah.
So
it
two
just sucks
things,
that we lost
yeah.
our quarterback.
Two
That's all he was
things
saying.
Two things came from that, and I'd like to do some research and find out when the 53-man roster thing became a thing. But the NFL needs to adjust that. Like, we need to have 3 quarterbacks on the roster now because, one, this was the year they started instituting like the third-party rule with concussions.
Mm-hmm.
Which that actually happened. I mean, that's why we saw Christian McCaffrey at quarterback for a couple plays against the Eagles. Josh Johnson got hit, went down. From upstairs, they were like, hey, he's woozy, get him off the field.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's why Brock went back out there for a few plays to just hand the ball off. Like, he couldn't throw. And it's like, look, if you're going to, rightfully so, if you're going to prioritize these QB's health, great. But you need to add 5 players to the roster, make it 58 or 60 people so you can have 3 QBs.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, like, these guys, you go 2 guys down, which takes 2 plays, and now you're left with a running back or a fullback to like snap the ball.
Well, Christian McCaffrey can do all.
He can. He is the ultimate
Wasn't he a
Swiss Army
quarterback
knife.
in high school? Or am
I'm
I
sure he
getting that wrong?
was.
Most players,
He's
most
probably
skill,
a 5-star
most skill
chef,
position
too.
players
I mean,
like that are. Yeah. While he's playing football.
knows how to play guitar. He's
Yeah.
just No, but if you're gonna prioritize health like that, then you have to have not just a practice squad guy. Like, he needs to be able to dress for the game.
Right.
Which I found kind of weird because wasn't there rumors like Garoppolo was going to suit up for the game because it's his
Pre-game, you mean?
leading into the week.
Yeah.
There was like,
There was
oh yeah, if
potential for that.
Garoppolo's healthy, like who do
Oh,
they
yeah.
start? And it was like
Yeah.
Purdy, he's 7-0.
Oh, I did hear that. Yeah. Yeah.
What are you talking about? He hasn't lost yet. What do you think?
Jimmy! Oh,
No, it was just really sad to see like the momentum of both those teams. You're expecting this like hard hitting like dogfight, and it was just like, wah.
yeah.
Sad
Okay.
trombone.
Well,
I was just
when do
laugh-
the Bengals
I
Chiefs
was
play?
laughing to myself because, like, through the Iowa season this year, I just can envision, like, being a coach and walking down the sideline and being like, "Did you play quarterback in high school? Did you play quarterback in
You know
high
how to throw a ball? Hey,
Anything.
Can you hand it off?
Oh, man.
Yeah. Where's the water boy?
Yeah.
So then with the skills competition, the first
Yeah, I
ever
didn't-
sport I've seen where they have all-star skills competition and they add another sport to it. They had long drive this
What?
year
No way.
in the NFL
How did I
skills
miss that?
competition.
That's awesome.
Did you see who won?
I did. I don't remember who it was.
Okay.
So T.J. Hawkinson, he had the
Sweet.
lead for the NFC. He hit it 316.
Sweet.
Wow.
I now need
Yeah.
to quit being a coach.
And then, so they're talking about, so the guy from the AFC.
For anyone who doesn't know, another Iowa boy.
Yeah.
Right.
Tight end.
Tight end
you.
at Iowa.
Shocker.
A tight end from Iowa made the NFL. What?
Yes. Like every
Whoopity-doo.
year.
But yeah. I really can't remember his name. I don't know why, but stepped up. He was actually a 3 handicap. Had a really good golf swing. The only one that had a good golf swing. I think 4 of the guys had never swung a golf club before.
Including TJ?
TJ is a golfer
Oh,
as
okay.
well.
Okay.
But most of the other guys had never even picked up a golf club. First time ever swinging. They're like, yeah, I watched a few YouTube videos. I think I got it down. And to be fair, they're amazing athletes. Never picked up a golf club before. They're hitting it 270 to 290.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a
that
slice or
power,
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're hitting big slices, but
Yeah.
Sure.
they're able to
That's
kind of keep it in the grid.
still impressive.
sometimes. Yeah.
We see that in here occasionally. Good athletes, strong guys. I mean, it's a challenge to
The
get them
connection.
pointed in the right direction, but when they hit it,
But weirdly, not always. You do get some like super level athletes that still don't connect with the ball either.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
I was
not that
expecting
much
slicing.
different than long drive contests.
Right.
They take 10 swings and hope one gets in play.
yeah. Yeah, like 3.
That's
Am I
accurate.
wrong?
3 in play is a good,
Yeah.
that's a good round.
Yeah.
3.
Yeah.
But then, like, I was watching some of the long drive stuff with Bryson DeChambeau. So he's the exact opposite. He hits 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
He just fills up the
very-
grid because he has so much work.
380
Because
though.
he was a real
I like
golfer.
380 though.
He played at North Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Well,
a
and
legit golfer.
This year he got 2nd. He was in the finals with Martin Borgmeyer,
Mm.
and he just couldn't get him in the grid in the finals.
Those still bring about $500,000, right, for World Championship?
That I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think it is.
something
Wouldn't
like that.
surprise me.
So if your golf career fails you, start lifting a lot.
Swing
Learn how to swing. Yeah, learn how to swing.
Hope you
hard.
hit it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 320 was the winning distance
Mm.
on the final ball too, and everyone was like,
wow.
"Oh, it's scripted. Oh,
Yeah.
he's writing the script."
That's cool.
Okay.
I think if the NFL were scripted, Brock Purdy would have made.
I was just gonna say, like,
Yes.
that's a good segue into this whole nonsense that I feel
Yeah.
like social media has perpetuated, that the NFL is
Ridiculous.
scripted.
Yeah.
So where do you land on that, Joe?
I don't think it's scripted, but I definitely do think the refs got some money on these games. 100%.
Okay.
I mean, there's no way you could script it, but for sure, times
Judgment.
yes, very
Oh,
interesting.
not at all. No, well, look, we know the NBA had that.
No, I mean, like, how many times they
Yeah.
got to get caught? It's like, well,
How many times has the MLB had that with players and umpires alike?
Well, I just saw a stat the other day from a guy that was
Stealing
like,
sign?
this NBA official needs to get fired because when he refs Celtics games, they're 32-1. I was like,
Yeah, that's real. Like,
okay, well, it's basketball. There's a precedent. The guy was caught. Like, we know that that's a thing. Football, I've just always felt, having played it, it's so much harder.
Yeah.
Because basketball is 5-on-5, man. There's 10 people on the floor. And it's a sport where if you have 1 or 2 really good guys, you can dominate the game. You can control the game even. And in football, if you don't have your half, your 11, like, in sync, you're going to get destroyed.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it would be so difficult to navigate that stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm just completely naive to it, but
no, I think you definitely are right, but at the same time, I'm just sick of seeing these dinosaurs out there. Like, let me go to school and be a ref. Like, these guys are
Oh,
60
yeah.
plus.
It's not
I'm
that
like, you're
hard.
you're not keeping up. Like,
it's not as difficult as you might think. I've worked with some officials, some refs who got into golf. I think John has too.
Well, I have one right now.
And you
I
show a modicum of interest, they're like, "Would you want to do it?" And I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
Like, you put zebras? No, I don't want to.
Well, I worked with
yeah, no,
It's a bullseye.
I coached he's about a scratch handicap. Coached a golfer that's in the NFL right now. He's a line ref,
Mark.
Hittner.
Yep.
Yeah.
I worked
Yeah,
with
and
him
it's
at Evan
and you
Watts.
and he was in. I'm trying to remember what game he was at. But he was at one of the playoff games.
So he's still active then.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the major
cool to see him
issue
out
I
there.
think they're running into in the NFL with referees
He
is
was-
that they pay more on TV for analysts
Yep.
and the refs in the studio.
Correct.
They like
Yeah.
triple their salary,
Right.
and you just get to sit in a studio and like 3 times a game
Yeah,
they'll
the
say,
good ones are in the
"Hey,
booth.
what do you think about this?"
Yeah, but on the field, that's still a 6-figure job though.
Sure, absolutely.
That's yeah.
But the top guys,
It's a
are-
huge it's a huge jump from college. College games are often like take like a basketball game or like $250 a gig.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, that I know.
$250.
Yep. And a hot dog.
Yeah.
yeah,
The last hot dog.
maybe a pretzel.
The last on the wheel.
Yeah. No, but like it's a good gig at that level for sure.
I think what they
Should
really
be, it
need
should
though,
be.
they just need someone up top in a booth looking at the replay that can just radio down immediately to the head ref and say, "Hey, you got this wrong."
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
That-
just like,
that
whoa,
that
like, look at
exists.
this. Hold on, boys. Just give me like 5-10 seconds. Let me look
Yeah.
at this.
I mean,
'cause
that does
that Chiefs
exist
game was
to a certain
bad.
extent.
It was bad.
It was bad.
It was
Yeah.
bad.
Well,
I have no problem saying it's
Controversy
bad
after
either.
it.
so what were your issues with the calls you saw?
Definitely, I didn't like that reset on third.
Okay, so but did you see
Yeah, I saw him come in.
the overview? Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I
because
definitely saw him come in.
I saw a kid's analysis on social media somewhere, and the point of it is because I agree with you. Like when that happened real time, I was like,
I mean, just real time.
dude,
you gotta
that's
look at
brutal.
it.
That looks like you're just like, oh, let's just do this over. I wasn't ready. It's like no, but when you go back, and if two guys, one guy
golf game.
is just half stepping it, right? Because he's fully like 20 yards into the field of play. Well, you can't count that down,
Yeah.
right? So yes, it's brutal for Bengals fans.
Yeah.
I agree. I understand that. The holding call, if Mahomes had kind of folded out to the other direction, they'd have called it immediately. The drive before, Frank Clark got mugged, and there was nothing.
It was bad both ways. That's what I mean.
Right.
Yeah, it was
So
just bad
I think from
officiating.
my perspective, I saw this throughout the entire postseason. I just thought the officiating was garbage. Did they cost the Bengals the game? No.
No,
They
Bengals
had a
saw the
drive.
ball with a
they
minute
had an
left.
opportunity.
They could've won the game.
And you will
had
to a
multiple
man on that roster. You go through them, and they'll say, "No, we should have won the game anyway."
Yeah, they should have.
Great teams overcome bad officiating. Like that is a common thought process. And if you're a fan saying like, "Oh, they cost them the game," then you don't know football. Be quiet.
And I don't think the
Well, it's pivotal
NFL
moments,
cares.
too, though.
Like
Yeah.
people
You're-
getting mad at the
you're
refs.
talking
They
about
love
it.
that. They love
We're
it.
talking about it, right? It's
Posting on
free
Twitter like, what
publicity.
is going on? Like,
Correct. Yep.
I don't think they don't like it. Like it's.
I kind of agree with you.
It's only gonna change if the teams step in and be like, all right, guys, like enough is enough. Like,
Right.
Well, yeah, then you go back to the, if you want to see really bad officiating, go back to the replacement refs and the,
Yeah.
the Fail Mary and just how. So you think it's bad now.
Yeah.
Just go back and watch some of those games.
Correct.
And you'll see that it's not, there were some.
I get it. It's
messy
high
calls.
emotions.
It wasn't
You
great.
know, but the amount of times, like living in this town, especially, that you see, Chiefs fans calling out bad calls after a game, whether they've won or lost, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
honestly, like,
Yeah.
move on.
Yeah.
It's gonna happen. They're gonna miss calls all the time.
Yeah.
The only
it's-
ones that I've seen that were like egregious was like Saints Rams NFC
Oh,
Championship
gosh.
game.
Do you remember?
No PI call when the dude's like 5 seconds early. Like
Yeah.
that was like
And was that the
What?
season where they allowed pass interference review or no?
they still don't.
Because they did for like one season,
Mm-mm.
didn't
No,
they?
no, no.
Oh.
Pass interference has
Yeah,
never
I-
been a reviewable call.
Didn't they?
I
Last
thought they
year?
did for one season.
Wasn't it last year?
Maybe I'm
Was it
wrong,
last
but
year?
I don't recall that being
I
an
think
issue.
it was last year, and
I know
like,
they've been talking
they were
about
just.
it
It was
for
almost
2
like it shouldn't
decades.
be there. Like 'cause
Yeah.
almost it would take like
5 minutes each
real
time.
egregious to overturn it. Like whatever they called on the field, 90.
Well, yeah,
of the time.
yeah, it would be like everyone's like, oh, yeah.
Like
even
most
the
of the
analysts
calls
and the
are
we
producers
called it on the field this. Like it has
Yeah.
to be like crazy egregious to
Right.
like overturn it.
I think it should be a challengeable call
Yeah.
or
I think so.
reviewable.
Or just
Well, because it's pretty.
how do you
pivotal.
not have guys on the field looking like, hey, like, I don't know, like, get
Yeah.
2 more guys, eye in the sky. Like, we
There's-
got 4 cameras here. They got 30 in the building. You tell me nobody can get a wire to these guys and be like, dude,
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
like
Hold
speaking
up,
of
like, take a second.
the moment it was early in the game, but like the Eagles Niners situation where the punt like hit the wire on the flyby
Oh, yeah.
camera, and both Eagles kickers were like and McAfee like in his show because he's ex-punter, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like, Fox, show the peripheral view, like we know you're hiding something.
Because the NFL even came out with a statement after the game saying the punt never hit the wire.
Which there is a view where you can clearly see its like axis turn differently in midair, and it's like, well, it didn't hit a pigeon.
Yeah, what? They didn't put
Nothing
it that
flying.
high. Like-
Like it doesn't just. I mean, the physics doesn't work like that. I don't think.
Flying squirrel.
So
It hit an eagle.
yeah, and-
Ricocheted.
and going back to the refereeing and everything, it's just like with how much they're pushing sports betting now.
Oh yeah.
It just adds
That's-
extra
that's
incentive
true.
to have
Yeah.
that corruption in the game.
Loaded shit. Well, Vegas determines a lot.
Yeah, it's all about
Yeah.
the betting money.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like,
thing.
just bring on all
not
the
far off.
robots. Give me AI. Give me everything. I want like.
Oh man.
I love it
I have
too
a
the
hard
old
time
way,
with that.
but like, especially in the MLB, like you get a hold of some of them umps, like you will not get calls. bro.
Yeah,
No.
and the problem is too.
You're
like,
saying especially with like pitchers and stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
I,
yeah.
I'm also like a purist too. Like I'm
the
like
different
well,
size strike zone stuff, and
Yeah, that's
I'm
a little
I'm
weird.
with you. I'm with you on that.
Well, sometimes it is egregious. You're just like,
yeah, I agree.
you are literally giving strikes to one pitcher, and that same ball is a ball to the other side.
Right.
That happens a lot.
and the
actually.
ump's just back there like cross-eyed, like, no, that's the way I saw it.
That's not.
you ever see that
That's not-
video?
That's not false.
What was it? It's like a little league ump, and he's gone, and he's like falling on the catcher. Have you seen that?
Oh,
video?
no,
my
really?
gosh, I gotta.
That's
we'll talk
bad.
about it
Yeah,
later, but it's
we're gonna need to do some reaction videos to some stuff.
Yeah.
can. That'd
Get
be
it up
good.
here.
Yeah,
We'll
you
do
bet.
that at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Golf fails too.
Yes.
Yep.
Like people driving golf carts into lakes and shit.
Why is that so common?
So funny.
It is funny.
Well, because it's common to play golf and be drunk. That's why that's common.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
It's a pretty
So, fun fact: you can get a DUI in a golf cart. You can also get a DUI riding a bicycle.
Brandon literally knows the most obscure thing.
Yeah, you can get a DUI riding a bicycle.
A bike?
A bicycle.
Wait a second.
It's like so, like if
On
you're in
the
the
sidewalk?
bike lane.
on the street.
like a
That's what I mean, like a bike lane. I'd imagine.
I
Yeah.
know.
You could
Yep.
get
Okay.
busted.
You can get a DUI riding a bike.
That's amazing. I'm glad that
This is
didn't
gonna
happen
turn
at Iowa
into a
State,
lawyer
'cause there were a few
infomercial.
times.
Do you do taxes too? Like what's going on?
I hate
I
taxes.
need a tax
no,
guy.
I hate taxes. I won't
Yeah.
do. I don't even do my own taxes. I send them off.
Okay.
Yeah, you filled out his tax form wrong when we started working for
I
him.
did. Yeah. Apparently.
Yeah.
so unlike you.
He's smart, but he's not in certain situations.
I did exactly what it told me to do.
No, yeah.
I don't know.
That's like
I don't
one of
know where I
my
went
favorite
wrong.
memes that's been going around for years with like the back and forth with IRS. Like, pay your taxes. How much? Guess.
Yeah.
200? No, you're in jail. Oh,
Yeah, it's like they know exactly to the cent
I'm
how
pretty
much
sure
you should
my
pay them,
reaction wouldn't
but they
be.
don't tell you.
Oh.
dang it. Every year.
Jail.
Go to jail.
Yeah.
I'm sure if any
Well,
one
it
of us
technically
got
is
audited,
twice
we'd
the
be
size
screwed.
now.
What is?
The IRS.
Yeah, they hired all those armed IRS officers.
I mean, didn't. Yeah, let's not go down that road.
Yeah, let's
That's
not.
that'll.
Well, our pod will get flagged
Immediately.
true.
rant or something. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
I don't like that.
What I was gonna say earlier about your point, Joe. Like, I love that the NFL tries really hard to keep tradition but keep modernizing things.
Yeah.
Baseball is notoriously like behind that, which is why they've lost fans over the years in just droves. It
Well,
just
the recent
became-
Astros crap doesn't help too.
right
Because
but-
it's like,
I don't know.
How
if it's
long
so
is
much
that-
I think it's just people's attention spans are so small. Like
Oh,
I've
that's
been to so many
true.
games.
that's for sure.
so you'll see a
Yeah.
pitcher in, like a bat. excuse me, like a battle between two pitchers, and be like, "This game's so boring." I'm like,
Yeah.
"What are you
Hey,
talking
I
about?"
used to be a
These
pitcher.
guys are
Right, and
battling
now you
right
coach
This
golf.
is amazing.
I know.
That's the
I didn't mean that like a pompous. I was just saying like I know what it's like to be a pitcher,
Right.
even at the high school
Yeah.
level, and it is lonely.
But
It's
playing
very
it,
lonely. It's very lonely.
it's just like I played soccer, way more engaging playing the sport than watching it. And as a
100%,
golfer,
yeah.
watching golf, it's unless it's a major,
Yeah.
man.
It's a great thing to take a nap to. I tell you.
Yeah.
that.
Right,
And baseball's basically tied with that.
right.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't. I mean, I can be critical. I don't really know how you change
More home run derbies.
watching
That's
golf.
That's
Like,
what they do, though. They load
It
the
is.
balls.
Yeah.
They'll juice the balls,
right? Yeah, they've been
Bring back this. Bring back the Sammy Sosa days.
for real.
or just juice.
Juice these guys.
Mark
them
McGuire,
all up.
baby.
Make
Yeah.
them all
No
steroid
Go
restrictions.
Cardinals. Yeah.
No restrictions.
That was the time where I was like,
I don't want to
most
have to
engaged.
guess that they're taking steroids.
right.
Just want
Like,
to look
yep.
at it and be like, "Yep, that's
His,
steroids."
his skull is huge.
I basically for all sports, I honestly want like NFL blitz style, but with everything.
So you
Just
like
abs-
WWE as a kid?
Oh
Yes.
yes, yeah. It made no sense, but it was like, let's just destroy each other. This is forget the game.
Did that guy's head fall off? Yeah. It was
I mean,
cool.
you gotta admit, NFL Blitz was awesome.
It was.
That was my
Especially,
favorite
like,
football
really
game.
unique.
And then like NBA Jam. Remember NBA Jam
Yeah.
on
I
love
Super
NBA
Nintendo
Jam.
before?
I still play it.
Yeah. Well,
Got it on the Wii Sports.
that's awesome. GoldenEye.
Yeah, I got an
Didn't have
N64.
that.
GoldenEye.
Yep.
We got Mario Party.
Yep.
Star Fox.
Star Fox.
Isn't there a
That's
remake of
throwback.
GoldenEye now? I heard there was a.
It might be.
I heard there's a new one coming out, but it literally just simulates the original.
Right.
Probably like a
Nintendo Switch.
20th
Like it's-
anniversary edition or something.
It's still like pixelated, and it's still the controls are awful. 'Cause I played it recently, not too long ago. I don't know, a year ago, recently, whatever. But I fired up the old N64, and I forgot how hard one joystick is.
It is hard.
When you get used to like, one is movement and one is like
that
look.
was the joystick that your Cheeto thumb was on,
Yes.
and the dust dropped into
Yeah, you remember
it.
the controller? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the center joystick.
Oh man,
Yeah.
got Cheeto dust.
Oh, those were great systems, man. Because all you had to do was like knock it and then like blow it out, and you're like, it works.
Yeah.
I still do it.
Yeah.
I know
Right?
it doesn't work, but I'm with the.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Joe, that's
Yeah.
a CD.
Yeah.
You had like all the add-on things. You had like the memory pack that you
I
put in the
didn't have that.
controller. I had the rumbler, the rumbler, like to make
Oh,
the
you were
controller
extra
shake.
for
We were
sure.
That's
Fancy.
awesome, man.
fancy shit.
That's so cool. So my brother, shout out Nick, who did our intro music. My little brother, he's big into like retro gaming, and like his collection's getting pretty cool. Really eclectic, like all these old school stuff that I was not even aware of existed.
Yeah.
And but it's really neat because he'll fire up some games and stuff, and he's like done a few videos where he'll like clean them and whatnot. And it is really nostalgic to see that stuff. It's really cool.
What was your guys' favorite system growing up?
Favorite or just what you had? I had the
I
had the Sega 16-bit and 32-bit until I was in high school. So
Yeah.
Sega was cool to me because I had a buddy that had one. I didn't have one. And there were some unique games, if you remember, the Sega that you couldn't
Yep.
get on any other system.
yeah.
So that was like coolest to me, but nostalgic would have been N64.
So I had a game that was kind of unique to. It seemed like my family was the only one that played it. Was Herzog, and it was effectively just like you're an airplane transformer thing, and you have these maps that you can beat, and it goes A to B or A to D, and you can kind of cycle through the game. You're either the red plane or the blue plane, and it was just really difficult and challenging and fun. But I don't remember ever coming across other people that played it. It was just like
Never heard of it.
I don't
Total
know.
loser, man.
What a nerd.
Did you ever play I had that N64 golf game. It was like Country Club at Wailea or something like that, like Hawaii. And it was like the stupidest game. It was awful, but it was so much fun.
I had PJ Tour 93 or 4 for
Oh,
Sega.
yeah.
I had Hot Shots Golf for the PS1.
Shots golf.
I had a Sega Genesis as well, but my favorite was NES Tournament Open Golf. So it's the Mario crew, and they had four courses. It was like US, UK, Japan.
Yeah.
Maybe only 3 courses.
That was probably it.
My favorite
Yeah.
golf game was probably the Tiger.
Tiger games.
The
Yeah.
original Xbox, I think.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the white button was your backspin, and you'd
Yeah.
smash that.
They're
thing.
bringing
Still
that back,
do.
by the way.
You still have that, yeah.
Yeah, it was sick. That
Wait, I think it was
I've gotten kind of tired. of it.
PlayStation. I had the 05 version, and I remember playing like the Coeur d'Alene course and like shot 48 for 18 holes.
Yeah, I was
and
gonna say
like,
that's probably why I got
this
tired
isn't
of it.
challenging anymore. I'm like, I had 9 eagles. It looked like that scramble team
Yeah.
scorecard actually from
Right.
like months back.
It's like the pleasant music comes on when the leaderboard pops up and you're like 25 under.
Yeah.
And second place is like 3 under.
Right. What a loser.
Yeah.
Golf is so easy.
I got tired of those games though.
They're too
Kind
easy.
of wore out.
Yeah, they were too easy.
But
But Tiger was at his peak back then, so he had to have his game.
Sure.
I got a little bit of my nickname in putting in high school from that. Tiger Vision
Tiger fishing.
for putting. Remember you could like 3 times.
yeah.
I think it was 3 times around. You could hit the button. It would give you the line.
Mm-hmm.
That was the joke. Is like John can see that line. He's got Tiger Vision.
Like, no, that's cataracts. But
Yeah. Nostalgia for me would be N64 just because, that, growing up with that. And then
right,
the switch to Xbox, we did have we were
with the
total
generation
nerds.
you
We
grew
had
up
the-
in. So
And the LAN parties. We had LAN parties.
yeah, that
Part of that.
I'm too old for that. Like,
Brandon would remember that. But
Oh yeah.
yeah. We'd
Right.
play Halo.
Back in my PC.
Were you guys
Remember
old
the
enough?
Halo days, the original Halo days.
Yes.
Were you guys old enough to experience like Sega's Dreamcast experience? They kind of tried
Old
to push
enough,
into.
just never did. I never
Okay.
had any of that stuff.
Yeah, that was when, like Xbox came out, Nintendo was
Yeah.
doing their 64 stuff, and Sega, it was like their last ditch effort, and it was just riddled with issues. Like I had a
Oh, absolutely.
I had a friend that had one, and it was cool. Like they had a good football game with it and everything, but it just you kept having issues with it, and it was a pretty dope system when they came out. I remember we had to rent it, and our friend's mom had to put like a deposit down from the local video store. But it was just like, man, this is Friday night. We're gonna stay at a friend's house and rent a whole system, and you're like up till 4 a.m.
Oh yeah.
You know.
We had binge days like that with
Heck yeah.
Halo. And we'd have like LAN parties with like 16 guys.
Oh my god.
So we'd have it's
I didn't have that many friends.
Total nerd fest.
Yeah.
We go like either we did them at my parents' house or like at Derek, another buddy of mine, his parents' house. And I mean, you think about it, it's like you'd have 4 TVs set up with 4 guys on
that's
each
awesome.
one.
Yeah.
And we'd all be in different rooms.
Yep.
So like we had headsets on, but it didn't matter because we were like literally screaming at each other. It's like, hey!
Screen peeking.
And the problem with that was like when we did it at my house, like there were a few guys in our friend group that didn't know how to filter their words. I mean, I cuss, but like there were some bad words
Oh, yeah.
when you were like 16.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
I had
yeah.
a couple couple buddies that had moments, and my mom would walk down the stairs and she was just so sweet about it. She'd be like, "Now, Jamie, we don't say things like that in our home."
I do.
I can see
And he's
that
like,
with
"Sorry,
Linda.
Mrs. Snyder," and then we go right back to playing Halo.
Not to mention with those, you have like a 24-inch TV, and you each have about 10 pixels in the corner.
That was the
what I
worst.
mean.
Yeah.
You know, it's like before HD.
Well, that's why we went to Derek's house because they were rich farmers, which isn't
Well-
normally a thing that you say,
Right.
rich and farmer. But
Because that was about the
big
time you had
TVs.
like the flat screen, but
Yeah.
it still had like the tube.
yeah,
Still
Still
weighed
weighed.
150 pounds.
Right.
Oh gosh.
I wish I had a picture of my dad, dude. It was the biggest TV you could imagine, but we had like a little, it was where our HVAC system was, and he went in there with that TV and he made it like a flat screen by himself. Like, it was like the wall, he like cut a hole in the wall and like framed it.
Oh,
oh
wow.
my gosh,
Like it looked like a flat screen,
That's
but
a-
it was like
that's a lot
this
of work.
TV, he made like it
that's
was
the
awesome.
kind of crap I would do.
Yeah, it was cool.
And I'd backlight
And
it.
you're
I started backlighting
OCD about
before it was
hiding.
a thing. Yeah,
what are you doing with my desk lamp?
yeah.
Leave me alone.
I was putting cords in the wall before people even knew what that was. How is that TV being powered? It's a mystery. Hey, it's a weird obsession. I used to call it OCD until Brandon made me aware that that's not actually what OCD is.
No.
Oh, my bad.
And then I felt really bad.
I misdiagnosed you.
OCD is way worse.
Oh.
Yeah, I have clinical OCD and it sucks. But
Yeah.
So what is your shtick? Like,
You have to like turn the light
You
on
have,
and
like,
off
you have to touch,
17
like-
times.
no,
It's not what you think.
it's
well, some people that's what.
yeah. So
yeah.
I used to be a lot more extreme.
First of all, are
in
you
my early
comfortable
20s.
talking about this?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
for real.
sure. I don't care.
We can always edit it out.
No.
Go ahead, cry.
Well, this one time,
Here's a beer, buddy.
right.
It's okay.
Oh,
no. So clinical OCD is like you have these unwanted either images or thoughts pop into your mind, and you have some sort of ritual to deal with it. So for me, it was always I would get like anytime I like picked up a knife, I would just have an image pop in my head and like an urge to stab myself or someone else. That was one of the major ones that I ran into all the time. So
Okay, I can't.
Joe's ready to get up and leave.
No, I
Yeah.
can't tell if he's being serious.
no, 100%
yeah, he's
serious.
being
that's
serious.
terrible.
It's
yeah,
terrible.
it's awful. You're convinced in your mind that you're this awful person. You're going to do this horrible thing, but in reality, you'll never actually follow through with it.
Yeah.
It's almost like having a second brain that just forces these things into your head, and the more you focus on it, the
It's,
Right.
stronger
it's
the
more
urge gets.
So it's
subconscious.
basically
Yeah.
your way of getting away from the thought and
Yeah,
doing
so you
something
you
physically.
do you do your obsession, or that's the obsession, and then your compulsion is doing something repetitively just to focus somewhere else
Right.
to get away from it.
Gotcha.
That's
So-
way deeper than just like this pen isn't in the right place.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a,
What would that be like?
but
So
that's actually the reaction.
That's what our culture does.
is what you're saying.
Yeah, they take a little
Yeah,
thing
so
and make
that's
it
Yeah.
so that's just like being organized.
Now I will
or-
never say OCD again.
Right?
No,
That's
dude,
like
dude, seriously.
insulting.
It's
It
a
stuck
serious
with
mental.
me.
It's a serious mental illness.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Wow.
horrible. But
so it's not Ricky Bobby.
No.
Don't you put that knife in your leg?
The best part is the outtakes when he's like laughing. He's like,
That is 100% going to be a clip.
yeah, no doubt. I got 2 knives in my legs.
Cut around the meat.
Yeah, you start
Gotta cut
crying.
around it.
Oh man.
So yeah, most people didn't know I had it because all of my compulsions were internal. I would just repeat like phrases in my head
Okay.
just to make myself feel better. Like,
Yep.
you know, just to get away from the thought of I'm going to stab somebody and kill them. You know, that's not a good thing to think about and focus on a lot of
Sure.
the time. But you can see how it's a major like anxiety mental illness,
I am
as you can imagine.
seriously
Say.
gonna tiptoe around any constructive criticisms with you.
No,
And it'd be like, so how's your day going?
no, like I,
Let's get to know each other a little better. I want to make sure we're on the same wavelength.
I've learned how to manage it.
I'm
Learned how to
looking
manage
for
it.
all the sharp objects in this room.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I
I
don't have an
literally
issue
see
with it.
18 things you could kill me with. Right now. I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, no, you don't have to be because again,
it's
I'll
like,
never
actually
actually.
doing
follow
So
through
like
with it.
serious thing. Is that like, do you take medication for something like that ever?
I
or is that-
did at the beginning
Yeah.
just to get it under control.
Yeah.
And then
It's like a
I
bridge.
did behavioral modification therapy.
Yeah.
So just changing
This was years.
behaviors in a controlled environment. This was like 10 years ago now at this point.
Yeah.
When you were selling cars.
Wait, this
Yeah.
is the timeline. I was going to say right
this
after
is
the
right.
golf academy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to kill a lot of people too. Oh wait, we're not talking about the same thing.
It was an issue for me before the golf academy. It just got significantly worse after. Where
I believe
like,
it.
I literally couldn't function in a normal capacity because of the anxiety it was causing me. Like I couldn't.
Hey,
I wouldn't go to church anymore because of some of the things. Like
anxiety is awful.
you know,
Silent.
I had trouble going to work sometimes just because I felt like I was going to do something horrible to somebody.
Yeah.
But
That's crazy, dude.
yeah, it was never the case.
I mean, I can kind of empathize in that, like, as a parent, especially when we had our first child, you are, at least I was, I felt like just flooded with these really morbid thoughts about what would happen potentially to your kid. Have you experienced that at all, Joe?
I think that's pretty normal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I have heard that from several.
I use it. You go ahead.
Well, I just, like, when we had Jackson, you get through that anxiety the first, I don't know, we'll call it 6 months. And we weren't getting off to the greatest start. He wasn't eating immediately. And you're just this, paranoid first-time parent trying to make sure everything. And then they do sleep finally. And you're like, oh, but are you alive? Okay, you're breathing. Okay. And then, when you're just, like, terrified something's going to happen to him, I guess. I don't know how else to explain it.
And Mac's
Yeah.
totally different.
Well, by the second one, you're not surprised by much.
Yeah. And you worry less.
You worry a lot less.
Yeah.
You've kind of been through the process. It's not anything like you love them less. You just know kind of what to expect, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah.
at that point. And so there's a lot less anxiety about what may happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was the oldest in my family. You kind of jokingly, you kind of are the guinea pig for any first time.
Is that where the stigma comes from? Like where you get older siblings that say like the younger one's the favorite type thing?
a little?
Even
yeah.
though is it true though?
I think
Or is
so. I mean, I feel like in certain cases, it depends on your household, obviously. But by the second, third, fourth kid, sometimes the parents are just more lax because they're like, well, we tried that discipline stuff. Didn't work at all because look at your older brother. It's like,
That was absolutely my
look at this
situation.
ass hat. Like,
Yeah.
well, go ahead, John. Do what you want. No. But, like, I do think you kind of find
Chris
a rhythm.
being the ass hat.
That's not what I said, Chris.
Well, I love you, buddy. Love you, brother.
Love you, man.
But you're still an ass hat. Anyways, continue.
But no, for real. I think as a parent, you kind of get into a group, and you do have to parent each kid a bit differently. Like they have different personalities, right? And so, like, and ours are very much like that. Jackson and Mac are very different different kids. So you kind of have to figure out what does and doesn't work for each of them, for sure. But yeah, that's all I was saying is like the morbid thoughts were really pervasive in that first couple years with Jackson.
Yeah.
But I think that happens for like literally all people randomly in moments. Like that's
Right.
That's why it's not like we don't need to jump to diagnosing something just because like we all have
Yeah.
we all have
So-
some weird thoughts every now and then, and that can be brought on just because you're really anxious lately.
The difference in OCD.
When you're really stressed, a lot of negative shit goes through your head.
So the difference between OCD and general anxiety is OCD, they have to be unwanted and uncontrollable.
Yeah.
So general anxiety, everyone gets those thoughts.
Yes.
Right.
It's how you can deal with them that's the difference.
Yeah.
Again,
Yeah.
YouTube, this is not medical advice. We're
Yeah.
not psychologists.
Yeah.
This
We
is
are
just general information from our own personal
Please don't go on
experiences.
WebMD after this.
Don't
No.
sue us.
Yeah.
Don't
No.
Yeah.
ban our channel.
We're just golf instructors, and we
This is
barely even know how to do
this
that.
is testimonial.
So
Yeah. But it's I got into a lot of research on this to kind of figure out how to deal with it too.
I would imagine.
It's just you're unable to dismiss the thoughts, and the more you attempt to get rid of them, and it just brings your focus more to them. They're in the forefront of your head, and they just get more intense.
Yeah.
And you just have to withstand them until they go away on their own. Which some days for me could be like 48 hours
Oh wow.
of just the same thing over and over in the head.
Yeah.
Kind of
And
like
some
when you
days-
slice 6 balls in a row, and then you
Yeah.
can't get that out of your head.
Or you shank one, and you're just like,
I don't slice six in a row because I stopped trying after 2. I'm like, yep.
So
this
he's
ain't
quicker to
working.
dismiss the thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
basically,
bye. Bye, driver.
See ya.
basically all OCD behavioral modification is just enduring the thought until the anxiety goes away, and then just learning how to dismiss them like a normal person.
Yeah.
So I'm more normal now.
That's a stretch.
I was gonna say, what is normal? Like I don't.
I know. That's
That's
where
why I
I'm like,
said that. It wasn't an insult
Exactly.
on you. None of us are normal.
No,
everyone's
There is
messed
no
up.
normal.
no. I mean, you can insult me if you want.
There is no normal.
I'm not going to stab you. Don't worry.
No, I heard one of my favorite things on a podcast the other day, and it was just relieving because, like, it was a serious talk about like stress and how everybody's got their own shit.
Right.
But it was simply said, like, you know what? Everyone's fucked up in their own ways.
So there's a lot of
Like
truth
the
to that.
entire world.
Yeah.
The entire, like, every person has something
We
that's
all got-
screwing with
yep.
their head, and it just brings everyone back on the same playing field and makes
You
you
bet.
realize it doesn't really matter what people think about you.
Yeah.
Because they're
At
going
all.
through something too.
At all. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're getting deep.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Potty break.
That's cool that you were able to bridge that gap though and get it under control, and
Yeah.
so it doesn't really affect you too much anymore.
No, not really.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Medical intervention was nice.
So do they know where that comes from? I mean, is there just no explanation of like the brain's not making a connection somewhere or what?
Yeah, it's mostly chemically related,
Yeah, that's what.
Oh, okay.
and some neuron pathways aren't quite
Yeah.
formed properly.
It's crazy. Brain's crazy.
Yeah, so I have pretty low melatonin and serotonin,
Mm.
and that also feeds into my.
How's your sleep?
Yeah, I don't sleep well.
Mm.
Like a couple
Oh.
nights, I slept 3 hours total. I have really bad insomnia.
Okay.
How do you function?
That's like huge.
Does that affect your function?
As
As far as you know, anyways?
a little bit.
Yeah.
But for the
It
most part, I've
probably
gotten used
does.
to it. Yeah.
The difference is you're used to it.
Yeah, it's not as extreme as with most people. Like, and the other thing too, that with my brain chemistry the way it is, I can't drink caffeine.
Mm.
So I have insomnia and I can't drink caffeine,
Hmm.
which is a really bad combination sometimes.
Mm.
Combo.
So for me,
Yeah.
caffeine makes me exhausted,
Mm.
but I can't fall asleep.
Oh, wow.
So it increases my insomnia, but also decreases energy and focus.
Worst possible.
It does the exact opposite thing.
Yeah.
So it's
I had a buddy in high school that had insomnia, and he's one of the few guys I still talk to. He actually goes on our 4-wheeling trips, and he's a good friend and like a brother, really. But he had like pretty bad insomnia. I don't know if he still struggles with it. And I now take it a little more seriously because, like, I mean, we used to just get pissed off because we'd have like something organized and like, all right, we're gonna get together at like 7:00, and then Nate would show up at like 10:30. We're like, Nate, it was 3.5 hours ago. He's like, sorry, I fell asleep on the couch.
Yeah.
And that was like, that's all we knew about insomnia, which was just like, well, he couldn't sleep at night, so he'd just randomly fall asleep for 4 hours.
Yeah, you have to sleep when you can.
Yeah.
That's just kind of how it works.
No, I feel bad. Love you, Nate.
Well, and the other thing I learned the other day too was that people have different what they call sleep profiles of when your natural circadian rhythm puts you to sleep.
Yeah.
So there's 3 different types, which is like early evening, so like 8 p.m. Then you have the between the 10 and midnight, and then you have the people who are 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah, I'm the middle one.
I'm the latter.
Yeah.
I'm the 3 or 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's me.
usually.
Some of that's trained, though.
Some
to a
of
degree,
it is
right? Like,
Yeah,
you
but-
can train your body over time.
But those sleep profiles are just in your DNA.
So you're saying that literally is permanently affecting even waking
Right.
hours too,
Right.
potentially.
Yep. And there's not a whole lot you can
So you're
train
saying
yourself a little bit.
I'll never be happy at 5:30 a.m. is
No.
what you're saying.
Who
That
is?
No.
sucks.
There are some people.
Some people
who
are.
like
No, like that's because I do.
stayed up till then playing video games. I was very
yeah, then I'm happy at 5.
I do. Yeah, that's happened. Yeah, at 34 years old,
No.
my life's going
No,
places.
I haven't done that in a long
No.
time.
My
But
brother and his wife are that way. They go to bed at 8:30,
Get up
9
early.
o'clock.
Yeah.
And I mean, she has to get up for work. She goes to work at 5 a.m.
But you're saying there's some people that could try to even train themselves to do that, and it would
Yeah, it's not
work.
Not possible. Like I've been trying to train myself for the last
Like
since
try to go to
college
bed like 2 hours earlier
to
or
go
something.
to have a regular bedtime around 10, so I can get up at 8
Do
a.m.,
you take anything
7 a.m. I've tried. I haven't found anything that's worked yet.
like melatonin or something?
Yeah, I've done natural melatonin. I've done like the
That's interesting.
other stuff like the Z-Quil or anything like
See,
that.
and that's like with our business. I've like in my mind, I thought I just wired myself to get used to being up till midnight.
Yep.
You know, and then it was like depending on workout, like when I do a workout, it's like 7 a.m. and that's the reason I feel like shit at like 6:15 because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this does not feel natural.
Right.
But it's like partly because it's really hard to go to bed earlier. Like you just
Yeah.
sit there and lay in bed for 2 hours, and then it's 12 already anyways.
Right.
Like shit, that didn't work.
I will say the one time, like, I mean, if I was landscaping or when I caddied for a
Yeah,
summer, I was
physical
getting up
exhaustion.
at 5:30. You know, I'd get home, I'd be passed out at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know.
that's partly the
But
physical
it
exhaustion,
is,
I would
yeah.
imagine, right?
You bet.
Like our jobs, we don't do shit.
No, and there's way too much technology. Like
Yeah.
your brain gets overstimulated, and so you
Yeah.
can't shut down.
Ooh, that's a serious topic right there.
It
I mean,
is.
that's affecting us in a lot of ways.
right. These lights.
Yeah. Well, you hear him talk about blue light and shit with like screen.
Right.
Yeah.
That's probably a huge part of why sleep patterns.
Yeah, 'cause
are
your
so disrupted.
Your circadian
nowadays.
rhythm
Yeah.
is influenced by sunlight and
Yeah.
natural light cycles.
And my
Like,
wife,
anytime we camp,
yeah,
I'm in bed not long after
That's
the sun's
true.
down, and I'm
Yeah.
wide awake when the sun comes up.
Yeah.
Man, it's just like immediate.
I'm not quite that way.
Yeah.
I've always been like that. Every
That's
time I
because
go
Nate
camping.
and I sit around the fire and drink beer all night.
This is true. Yeah.
Have you looked into like,
Start sleeping outside.
yeah.
With your beer.
But no, like even like I've seen those pads that you can get where it cools you down while you sleep. Obviously, the colder you are, the more deeper the sleep that you have.
Right.
And I know it's stupid, but cold plunging like that does it too. Like if you do that and then you get like take a super hot shower, that like immediately like I get knocked out every time I do that. And then
Yeah.
like at night,
Well, yeah, because your
I mean,
brain
there's a lot of stuff now.
your
so-
brain has to cool 2 degrees to fall asleep.
Yeah. No, it's true. I know.
So
I'm just
I'm
as big of a
sorry.
nerd, so you guys
I
can go
know.
ahead and take a nap now.
You just
so yeah, you need to be between.
you like slipped right back into Tritech-isms.
You did,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna make that a thing. I love it. It's not
That's
bad.
that's what it is, like a super hot shower.
Yeah.
Like, because as soon as you get out, your body's gonna.
Pretty much anytime my wife gets in the shower,
Yeah.
Or have someone.
boiling hot water.
That's true.
Why is
That's
that
a
a thing?
female thing.
What the heck?
I like hot showers, but yeah,
No, I mean it's
like if I get in right after my wife or something, like you're right. It's like so hot I can't stand it.
Oh man,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I'm like, what is your
She's
skin
like,
made
this
of?
feels so nice, and then I get in, and my skin literally burns.
Right.
3rd degree burns.
Hey, throw me a lobster. It'll
Yeah.
cook.
Yeah. That is weird.
But yeah, for sleep, 62 to 68 degrees is where you want your room temperature to be.
Yep.
Because if it gets above 68, your brain activity just goes haywire.
Disclaimer: we're
drains
also
the nerves.
not sleep experts.
Well, I'm getting all this information from one that I watched. Dr. Mike did an interview with a sleep expert. I don't know if you watch him on YouTube.
No, I watched Dr. Larry.
Yeah. Dr. Mike, he's a famous YouTube doctor.
Yeah. I watched Huberman Lab.
Okay.
He's really good too. I mean, he's like all around. He's more for like performance but I've watched one on sleep too.
And I will say the cold plunging thing, dude, isn't stupid. I mean, thanks to you and another student, I've started doing the cold shower stuff, which I won't go into the whole diatribe with it, but it's been pretty fascinating to see how the body responds to it, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I just do it simply to just shut the inner bitch. That's what it is.
Right. Yep.
Because that feel like
I physically can't do it, unfortunately. Otherwise, I probably would.
It is supposed to help with circulation. I mean, I don't know how that would like impact you.
Yeah, with Raynaud's disease.
Probably not.
No.
No.
I literally can't even pull a drink out of a cooler if it has ice in it.
Does your handle fall off?
Because it physically triggers the hypothermic
oh.
response. And so
Jeez.
all the blood just goes out of my arm, in my feet, same time. Just
Yeah.
whole body just triggers
okay.
hypothermia, life-saving response.
Wow.
So,
Well,
yeah, I
I
can't.
thought I had bad circulation, but goodness, I don't have to deal with that. Thankfully.
Yeah, Raynaud's really sucks. That's why we moved south. That's why I'm here.
It's so much warmer.
Living in
It is a
Minnesota.
lot better.
So today in
Well, yeah.
Minnesota, it was -10.
I was gonna say it's
Yeah.
at least
It was
20 to 30 degrees.
28
It's just-
degrees here.
Gray all the time.
And it's gonna
you
be
know.
really nice this weekend.
Yeah, 50s, 60s.
Yep.
I'm probably going to get out on Sunday and probably just go to the range. I don't know if my swing's in a place
I was
where I
gonna
want to
say
go
we'll see
play.
what's going on, but I'd like to try and get out Monday if we have the time to do it. It's gonna be like 62 on Monday.
Yeah, a little windier on Monday, but I'd be
Always.
down for
Always, if we get
Going
that
out
type
and
of
playing.
temperatures, it's windy usually because of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sunday though, it's supposed to be 60 and no wind, which is
Mm.
surprising.
Well, we've got church stuff and
Yeah, my parents are
probably
in
getting
town.
some
I'm watching the kids.
pictures taken. Don't need to say it like that.
Well, I wanted.
I have to be a parent.
My wife was like, "Oh, you should play golf on Sunday." She's like, "Oh, I have the." She's doing some expo, and I was like, "Wow, you would do that."
Right. Hey, honey, I was thinking
Joe,
you
let's
could
go play golf on Sunday.
Yeah. Maybe.
I just got it. All I have to do is make sure my dog's not choking to death, and then we're good.
Oh man.
I actually love taking the kids. I could do 9 holes.
I mean, my dad would be
Yeah,
down.
mine last
He's
about
gonna be in
3 or
town.
4, and then I'm like,
should,
okay,
seriously.
we need to go.
I'd
Yeah.
go.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give him a fitting on Sunday.
I just
though.
can't be gone all day. But
Yeah.
we play around the golf.
Yeah, after like 1 o'clock, I'd be free.
Sweet.
I might be. If Mac is getting sick, we may not have small groups.
You're not invited.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I love you. No, yeah, let's play golf. That'd be awesome.
So speaking of golf, you guys have been
We do that here.
yeah.
Do occasionally.
Yeah, apparently this podcast is not golf related, which I guess is fine.
Not today. Thanks, Brandon's
What's our
mom.
yeah?
Right, Mom.
She told us we did too much golf talk, and I was like, "Well, don't watch then.
Yeah.
You don't play golf."
We gotta keep. Hey, there's plenty of episodes that we're gonna be doing. There's a
Right.
lot of
Yeah.
variety.
It's called
so-
the Fringe for a reason. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes you're
Yeah.
on the outside. You're not
Fringe.
dancing. You're not putting. So.
Yeah.
So we've been in the golf sphere for the last almost 11 years now.
Well, you haven't.
Well,
What do you mean we?
Yeah.
we
Glad you're here, buddy.
yeah. Okay, I've been in tune with the golf sphere
That's fair.
for the last 10, 11 years now.
No, you haven't. You're not even on social media.
I am now.
Stop.
Hey, follow me on Instagram and Twitter.
All right. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we went to the golf academy 10, 11 years ago.
Yep.
So kind of the question is, how have you seen the world of golf kind of transform in that last 10 years? And then where do you think it's heading?
Man,
It's a big question.
that is a big question.
I think we have pretty good clues as to where it's
How many
heading
hours
here.
do we have?
Yeah.
How many
Uh,
beers do we have? That was the wrong
Are
question.
you talking specifically to the amateur level right now, or like
Just the industry as a whole.
I'll speak to
we're-
the
we're-
amateur
we're-
level first.
Going
Yeah,
broad.
please?
Well, I mean, I think one of the awesomest advancements is like the opening up to the general public that wouldn't normally play golf. and that's through formats like Top Golf,
Right.
Sure.
tee shots, simulator bars. Like, I think courses we're still trying to figure out how to bridge that gap a little.
Yeah.
Because like new golfers are rightfully so, they're intimidated sometimes, right? To go play golf, like to go play 9 holes or 18 holes, and especially with friends that are already golfers.
Sure.
So I think the formats that have brought people to golf in a casual way, like I think it's a nothing but positive, personally.
Agreed. Yeah.
So like the more the merrier, and we're getting all these places around us. We're pretty blessed here in KC to have
Yeah.
tee shots up north, Top Golf down south, and then you've got X Golf in a couple places, and
Right.
we just got a lot of alternative forms, which is good.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
I agree with that. I think we've seen, at least in this area, I can't speak like nationally really, but I feel like our student body has gotten considerably younger in the 10 years since
For
we
sure,
approached.
yeah. And more females.
A lot of more ladies
Yes.
playing,
Yeah.
yeah, which is awesome to see.
Weren't we talking about a stat like that not long ago? The actual statistics behind that?
Probably,
Like
but I don't.
representation of females has gone up significantly
Yeah.
in like the last
I mean,
decade.
the opportunity was there. It just
Yeah.
golf courses have not likened themselves to
we need more
both
Faith
sexes.
Wilsons.
Yeah. Well, I just, in general, getting more ladies involved and making it more available to them and creating environments that's welcoming to them, too.
Yeah.
It's so catered, because it has been for 100-plus years, to men, that
Yes.
there needs to be some leveling out of that. And I think it's slowly, but I think we're starting to see those gears turn. And
It's too many male coaches.
yeah, there is.
I mean,
3 of them sit here.
yeah. But we need, I mean, that's part of it, right? You got to talk about that, like attracting more females to the business side of it too,
And
not just players.
I think you'll often see this in sports where the star tends to drive it. Tiger was a big influence for, I think,
yeah,
all of
that's-
us in
that's
here,
very
right?
true.
We were all aware. And especially in the United States, there has not been that U.S. female, like, superstar golfer.
True.
The Corda sisters are
Moments.
kind of the closest
Michelle
thing
Wie
we've
before
had.
that.
Yeah, she was there for a minute.
Annika Sorenstam.
Annika, but, Swedish.
Lexi Thompson.
Lexi was
Oh, I'm
there,
sorry.
but
I didn't know you were saying exclusively. Whoops, American.
well, not that makes a big difference, but
Yeah.
I feel like when like, oh yeah, like that you can identify with that person,
Yes.
that matters a bit,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I think we're starting to see those gears turn as well. Like the sponsorship dollars on the LPGA are hitting
Yeah.
unprecedented highs, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
And now we've got this dynamic where PGA Tour versus Live. I mean, is it?
I was gonna say
is
that.
it scripted? Is
Yeah.
it real? Like, I don't know. Like, it's all too convenient that Netflix
Even if it
decided
is-
to do a documentary
Well,
the year that stuff dropped. So
Right.
I don't know, but they're talking about it.
Even if that's what I was gonna say. Even if it is scripted, it's like at least it's provided this kind of balance, right? And it's forced the PGA Tour to kind of relook at some things.
You have to, and it's clearly a monopoly. They have been in control of it for a long time, and so I think the defensiveness of the PGA Tour was pretty hilarious to sit back and watch. Honestly, I mean,
Yeah.
them trying to make these moral arguments about the Saudi money when
Yeah.
the European Tour wouldn't exist without it.
Oh, every great organization does that though.
Right.
NCAA did that shit.
And they still have
played
PGA
moral
Tour-
arbiter.
Well,
It's
and
like
they still
a
have
bunch of
PGA
crap.
Tour events in China. Like,
Yeah.
you really want to play that game?
Yeah.
Like, it's literally just like, how many times do you need your money washed? then?
Yeah.
Like, it's all dirty. So get over yourselves.
Let's just embrace it.
Right. If you are that much better
Who
than
really
Liv,
cares where the money's
then
coming?
go head to head and
Yeah.
prove your product's better.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's golf. It's not NFL, USFL. This isn't.
But you
like
can
it was in
understand the
80s.
response to it because they are the standard.
What I
and they
don't
have
like
been the
is how they have leveraged Tiger and Rory as like their apologists.
Well, yeah.
Because it's
I
kind
wondered
of
if
made
that was-
Rory unlikable in that regard.
Yeah, it
where
was-
every time he goes to the podium, he has to answer those questions, and he does.
Yeah.
And I even agree with his response, but I'm tired of hearing about it. Like, at this point, as a PR guy, I would just say, I've already answered that question.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah.
Like, he has. He has
I mean,
answered
Tiger-
it a dozen times.
Tiger's playing that role too.
He is.
But
And granted, he
He's
can't
also the
do his
billion-
talking with his
also
game
a $1 billion
anymore.
athlete though.
Right.
Easy to turn down money when you're a $1 billion athlete.
No, again, like I largely agree with a lot of what these PGA guys are saying. I happen to fall in line with the moral argument even But as
Yeah.
a business, it's
Yeah.
like, well, then let your product shine
Money is money.
and shut up. You know?
Yeah, and as a business and as an individual, like that spills into the whole like NIL stuff in college. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. Like,
Right.
can you really blame a kid for accepting $1 million offer
No,
at 17 years old?
Yeah.
Like, it's not his fault. The system's kind of fucked.
no. And I think it's hilarious that Nick Saban tries to be critical of that.
Yeah,
You've been doing this behind
You've been-
people's backs
you've been doing it for
20 years, and now you have a problem
Yeah.
with these kids leveraging for more money.
Well,
It's
here's
like,
why he has
give me a break.
This is why he
dude.
has a problem, because now other people can do it.
Oh yeah,
Well, hold on. Other people are going to compete with me now? Hold
Yeah.
on.
right. Yeah.
Not really. No.
No.
They're still going to pull 40% of all the 5-star recruits every
Right.
year.
Did you see that stat the other day where Nick Saban has pulled in 9 5-star recruits in the last 2
Yeah, I was
cycles,
telling-
and the Big Ten has had
Yeah.
7?
Yeah. Well, that was akin to
What
the
does that
stat I
tell
just
you?
said. I mean,
Yeah.
that's been
Right.
recurring for the better part of 20 years now.
He's built the dynasty.
Yeah.
So people will
He's
obviously wanna
bought the
go there.
dynasty. That's right.
Super annoying.
Well, and I
But anyways,
can't blame the live golf
like-
people for
yeah.
going there. It's like
Not at
a
all.
lot of them were, most of them were like kind of like the older superstars. They're kind of on their way out on the PJ tour, not winning
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I can make just as much money, put in a little less work, and have a little more
Make
relaxed
more money.
atmosphere. Yeah, put it.
You're
make
getting
way
contract offers.
more money. Sure,
Right.
like it's
It's not all
guaranteed money.
winnings.
And there's
Yeah.
still more coming.
Yeah.
There's still more coming.
Yeah,
It's more money, and it's filthy money for what they've been making.
right.
Some of the names they've signed.
And I think that might kind of end up being their downfall is the guaranteed money and the signings and stuff.
Well, yeah.
They don't have to
Well,
perform.
are you aware that the events they play in is their own money?
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
they are kind of like gambling with each other, so to speak, at the moment.
Yeah, they're-
Because-
Yeah.
Now, they did get a TV deal. So those of us that were like ardent watchers of the CW,
Hey,
I mean,
it's what I
but
do
it's
on
a
my
start.
weekends.
Is that who signed him? Was CW?
yes.
Oh gosh.
PBS, baby.
Yeah, it'll show up right in between,
For
reruns
dozens of dollars.
Smallville and
Right.
Yeah.
whatever else is
The,
out there.
the painter guy.
They're
what's
probably
his
getting
name?
more
Bob
viewers
Ross.
from.
Yeah, Bob Ross.
Hey, don't be dissing Bob Ross.
I'm not dissing.
I
He's
love
a
Bob
legend.
Ross.
Loved Bob.
Bob Ross and Live Tour back to back. Amazing.
So yeah, you get to have happy little
Love to
trees,
see it.
Most confused.
and then guys
ever.
hitting balls out of happy.
Let me
little
just
trees.
paint a nice little fairway right over here.
happy little trees. That's
There's
hilarious.
no mistakes,
Just happy accident.
just happy accidents.
Did
Yeah.
you see that documentary?
Which one?
The Bob Ross documentary.
I haven't had
Yeah.
Netflix in a while.
It's very good.
I would
it?
imagine you
It's
did.
actually really good. Yeah.
It doesn't ruin him or anything, does it?
No,
Okay, good.
I don't
I'll-
think so.
I'll probably watch it then.
It's just like how he came to be and all that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of family dynamics and
Oh, yeah.
kind of how
Sure.
building a business kind of around him. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool though.
Well, and speaking of the signings and kind of how the golf world is changing, you have these big brand deals for people who don't even play on
professional
tour.
golf. They're good golfers, but they're not
Yeah.
pro golfers.
Yeah.
I don't
I mean,
want
it'd be no different for us. We're not criticizing, to be clear.
No.
That's just a change that is new.
the marketing tactics
Yeah.
are a little. I don't know. It's not how I would have gone about it.
You mean putting like a YouTube golfer's bag next to Tiger's bag?
that's a good example?
Yeah.
Was that too forward?
Well, here, I'm going to play devil's advocate here.
yeah.
How much influence on the game are they going to have versus Tiger when
no,
it's
you're
all said and
you're
done?
right. It's hard to
Nowadays, a ton.
put into
Because
context
it's the
because
standard.
I'll give you an example. You can look at Mahomes' contract when he signed it, right? And the Chiefs signed him early, and I forget like the total numbers, but by 2 years from now, it's gonna look like a deal
Mhm.
with the type of money that Mahomes is making,
Yeah.
and the salary cap's constantly going up. So no, you're dead on, dude.
What
I-
matters is the literal influence.
It's the influence
and the
that they
money.
have, and
Yeah.
they have a massive following. Yeah, I just found it odd that you're putting YouTube golfers' bags next to like two icons of the game, but
That's
that's the
'cause you're-
direction
that's
we're going.
Yeah.
And I'm old enough to not look at YouTubers like celebrities; they're just people to me.
But
But
they're their
there
own
is a-
category now. They are
They are,
celebrities.
they are,
But it's you're a content creator celebrity. I mean,
yeah.
that's what you
And that's it's as we're doing this for YouTube. Like it's hard to.
And to be fair to those content creators, like if they bring the advertising and they bring the money, then they're worth getting paid.
Yeah.
I don't
It's that-
disagree with
it's
that at
that
all.
simple.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Because, like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's name, image, likeness.
Yep.
I mean, and that's really what it all boils down to is it's all just business.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're a great golfer.
Where's the
like,
dollars being spent?
Yeah, how many people buy our product now because they follow you on YouTube?
Yeah.
That's really what matters.
That's all that
I don't
matters.
care if you shoot 88.
And are
Million
either of
people
us
bought a driver
surprised-
because of you.
Right. And
You
are
know?
either of us surprised that the two brands that did it were Callaway and TaylorMade?
I will not say what.
I'll take that silence as a no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't see Mizuno getting brand influencers out
Well,
there.
no,
No,
they were with.
That's not true.
They partnered
not
with
true.
Grant and,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
Garrett.
Well, they partnered, but they weren't like
Right.
you're on team.
That's
It is only a matter of
understand.
time before everyone's doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And by the way, PXG started doing it first.
that's true.
They bought people, literally. I mean, you remember how many tour players they had signed up right away? I mean, it's partly because what's his name, Bob Parsons. I mean, he has unlimited pockets,
Right,
deep
basically.
pockets. So they bought their fame, literally.
Yeah. Yep.
That, and you had a few pink designers design your club, so you had notoriety immediately.
You did.
Yeah.
And you can argue it worked.
Who's their top guys?
Why
I
were
know
you
they-
laughing about that?
What?
I don't know. I was talking about PXG.
I don't know. Bob Parsons. I feel like.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to do a.
Oh.
Oh, like the
Boom,
stick?
baby.
Boom, baby. We make the best golf clubs, period.
You don't.
It's
but
actually good
close.
marketing.
Yeah, it's
It's fun.
It's pretty good.
It's like Bob. No, but
And
it's
they
good.
they do some really cool work with veterans and stuff, which I really respect because Bob
Like-
is a veteran and
massively.
yeah.
They discount massively for veterans, from what I've heard.
Is it in like 20% or something?
No. It's like 40. It's
really?
yeah, it's something stupid because I've had a couple students buy PXG, and
Oh, okay.
it's like that's why they buy it because they're like it's like there's no way anyone else.
I
can
think my
compete
only
with
student
that.
with PXG was first responder.
Yeah. I mean, don't quote me on the number, but it's
Sure.
it's ridiculous.
It's a lot.
No one else
Yeah,
can
it's
put
pretty
up
awesome.
with it. And that is awesome.
It's also,
Yeah.
I mean,
Go Bob.
you can argue when you're marking it up that much that now
However-
you're just paying what you would have bought pings for out of normal price.
That's another discussion. for
Yeah.
Another podcast. What?
Yeah, well, we'll
One of the
talk about that
funniest-
next time about the cost of golf.
One of the funniest things though was like, do you remember reading the like origination story according to Bob for PXG?
Oh
Like
gosh.
his original interview is like, "Why'd you start PXG?" And his statement was like, "I spend like
Yeah.
$275,000 a
Yeah.
year on golf equipment, and I've tried every combination, permutation of every club and shaft and grip, and none of them have been right. And I developed the right one, and it's PXG." And it was like, "Okay, Bob."
Thanks, Bob.
Yeah,
Thanks, Bob.
but the
Hold
fact
on.
that he
You
said
are
he
business,
spends
a business guy spent
$275,000 a
Bullshit.
year.
bullshit.
I
No
agree,
chance.
but even if it's 50, it's like that's brave. That's a lot.
I mean, I poke fun at students that buy a new driver every year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still I'm like 3 years old on equipment. 4 now.
Well,
My
speaking of
driver's
that, I
4 years
I tried to fit against my clubs a couple days ago,
You're not super outdated
and
either, though.
7 years old.
With what?
Yeah,
The
that's
59s?
pretty old.
My irons, MP59s,
the iron.
7 years
Man,
old.
that's different though. Like a
And
forged iron.
I
That's a little
couldn't beat him with anything on the market.
different. And some of that's just lofts and stuff.
Yeah.
And line angles.
Yeah.
But like outside of adding tungsten plugs and titanium, you're
Right,
you're
more
not that
forgiveness.
irrelevant with
Yeah.
your clubs aren't that old, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, in terms of iron technology, it hasn't changed a lot since the early 2000s, to be honest.
Yeah.
Driver technology.
Drivers are
however,
going crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shafts, face technology.
Well, I watched the videos.
Pretty soon we're going to be making them out of paper mache.
Yeah, just to get them lightweight. I watched the fittings from TaylorMade with Grant and Micah.
Yeah.
I watched those videos, and
I only saw Micah's.
yeah, the
Missed them both.
again the issue on both of them was they just couldn't get the spin rates up enough with the TaylorMades.
That was interesting though to watch Trotty.
Mm.
He's awesome.
Yeah,
He's
a
great
Cool, he's
at what he
cool dude.
does.
He's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like it just
It's the accent, man. You can listen
Well-
to those guys forever.
Yeah, it's the knowledge though too.
Yeah.
It's like the realization of the fact that high ball flight's a good thing. It's like all
Yeah.
driver fittings are all about spin rate, right? And lowering spin rate. We're gonna lower your spin rate.
Yeah.
And it's like the fact is the irony about that is like that's with a 20 handicap.
Right.
Yeah, it depends the type
It's
type
like-
of player you are.
Yeah, it does. But so to see him like with Micah and help him embrace his height and actually capitalize on it more was kind of cool because it just goes against the norm. But you're also talking about a striker.
Yeah, he has
360-yard drives.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, one of the fastest
athletic.
swings on the market, and then
Yeah.
Grant, who's got about as buttery tempo as we've seen since
Yep.
Freddie Couples.
Yeah.
Got just a perfect golf swing, really. And I was fortunate enough to get to watch it up close for 9 holes. I mean, he just he's never out of rhythm.
And that's probably another factor of how the golf world has changed, like technology. It's still changing rapidly.
Yeah.
Like how we're using it in fitting and just in equipment development, like technology continues to advance crazily.
Tell you what, that Mizuno shaft optimizer that we have,
It's awesome.
that changes the game.
It's
'Cause, like,
awesome.
I went and got fitted. I'm not going to say where or anything,
Yeah.
but it was I hit 12 different golf shafts, or 15 golf shafts and 12 different heads.
Mm.
I hit 120 shots
Mm.
wow.
because they didn't have anything to narrow down. It was, okay, this is what you're playing now. This is what those numbers can produce. So now we're going to go through every gram weight of golf shaft on the market at the flex that you currently have and just go up until we find where our ball speed
This has
drops
been going on
off
for a
and our
while though,
control.
because the optimizer's like 14 years old.
Yeah.
And I've wondered, like, why isn't this more of a standard? And all I can come to the conclusion of is they do have a patent on it, by the way, so nobody can copy it in any shape or form. But I would imagine it's not a standard tool because, like, a general fitter isn't going to start with a Mizuno licensed product to start a fitting for any company, right?
Yeah.
But, like, in my opinion, why wouldn't you? It
So
just
really,
makes it so easy.
Yeah. They just
You know?
ran you through just a bunch of preferences they had and tried to narrow it down.
Yeah, they put me through like their top
Yeah.
15 options at different weights.
I
Or
would've
their
died.
top 5 options at 3 different weights.
Yeah.
And then saw which one worked the best, and then
Huh.
again went through the gram weight.
And you still need to do testing, to be clear.
Yes.
The optimizer doesn't eliminate that need.
No, but it just narrows your
narrows
focus.
it. Yeah.
Well, I referenced it in our last video, but I did my own kind of refit, and for years I played the C-Taper X and 130.
2x4.
Really, like, it's about as rigid as it gets. And so now that it's back on the market, I threw it back into my head combination and tested it out, and I was just like, I don't really need that extra 9 yards and the unpredictability that it presented.
Yeah.
Because when it disappeared, when the C-Taper disappeared, I went to that Rifle 6.5.
Oh, yeah.
And played it this last season and just kind of fell in love with it. I was like, well, this works. There's a little bit of movability with it and stuff.
Yeah.
And so when I went back to the C-Taper, I just always felt like with that shaft,
You have to try.
I have to swing
You have
hard.
to try.
Yeah. The ability to throttle
Yeah.
down into field distances is like almost impossible with that club.
So I'm playing and I'm, me, like speed-wise now, I'm kind of in this middle tipping point where it's like stiffer X, right?
Yep.
Like I'm not convincingly one or the other. I'm kind of right in between. But that lightweight X Flex is perfect for that.
Yep.
'Cause
Yeah.
it's like I still get that feel of club head where it's not like the C-Taper, dude. If that felt that way for you, is worse for me.
Sure.
Because I'm like, I can't even get this off the ground. Like, and even if it was technically the weight and flex I needed.
Right.
But yeah, these kind of lightweight categories with stiffer flexes, that's actually been more of a recent thing too.
It has
That's
been.
not that old because it used to be that like it was pretty straightforward that, weight and flex, as one went up, the other one up.
Yep.
And
is
that's
what it
not the
is.
case anymore.
No.
Just because of like smart construction.
They've
and
been able to
whatnot.
refine it so much. Yeah, because
Yeah.
the 6.5 was only a 5 gram reduction. I mean, it's
Yeah.
not like I can pick up on that difference
Yeah.
in swing.
Yeah.
But as we talk about
The
bend,
rigidity, though.
the bend profile, the softest, because it was a good mixture between the Dynamic Gold 300, which was like, goodness, if you want to like hook it around the corner, like that's a great shaft.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's got a lot of movability. But then the C-Taper was like the other end of the spectrum where it's like you can't curve the golf ball.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of found like, my happy medium with the rifle, and I'm just I'm going to stick with it for as long as I can swing it.
That's convincing evidence there, though, that like that's an example of how the shaft really matters.
Ton.
But that's underplayed and not known as well in the amateur world, partly because of skill set, right? Like if you can't strike
Sure.
if you can't strike the center of the club face somewhat well, then you don't quite get all of that out of the
Well,
shaft.
part of the reason you might not strike the center of the face is because the shaft you're using doesn't
Yep.
flex in the way that you need.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
if you were to, I mean, this is my opinion, but I'd be interested to hear your guys' opinions. But like, if I were to summarize what makes an amateur golfer an amateur, it's that they can't feel the club face or the club head. Period. That's kind of like my overbroad general summary.
Well, I would just even over broaden it more and say they just can't feel in the swing.
Hey,
for the beginning, yeah.
I'm not an amateur then. I don't know.
Yeah.
We can go past the club head.
I'd
and
go a
just say
step further
they
and
just-
say they're dead inside.
yeah.
Yeah, but feel is like that flex and weight. And then
Sure,
if you're
sure.
really good, obviously rotation.
I think it is player to player, but to your point, I remember very early on into coaching when I stopped asking where they thought it was on the club face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
They don't have a clue.
like Joe, you sound like you kind of have picked up on that, right? You
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
feel toe and
Oh, yeah.
heel and stuff, right?
Immediate.
I thought that was really normal, that people could tell
The difference.
where it was on the face.
There's a difference between being able to tell the difference and knowing it's off center, though. You know,
Fair,
like toe versus heel versus.
but my incorrect
shitty.
assumption was that was kind of common knowledge, and most golfers could do that.
common sense.
And as a new coach,
Yeah.
right? You don't really and so I stopped asking that within like the first few months.
It's really worrying when somebody like literally tops the ball and you're like, "Boy, you really topped that," and they're like, "What?" Like, where do we start here? So this is a putter. How do we boil this down?
Oh, good.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
started narrowing it down from because I did the same thing. You know, I haven't been coaching here that long, but it's like, did you feel that was off the toe of the club, off the heel? Did you shank it?
Right.
They're like, well, it didn't feel good.
My hands hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
So I've just gotten to, was that good contact or was that bad contact?
so at least you know what the center feels like because
Yeah.
you never hit it.
Coach said it's okay to bleed from the ears.
Yeah. Yeah, so where I was going with the like that feel of the club head though,
Yeah.
and this relates to my game, and like you remember when I had that fallout with Driver in Myrtle Beach for a couple
yeah.
months, and I was just like, what the hell? I can't hit this.
Which I was confused
And
by.
it was
'cause
like-
you're I was like, you hit 3-wood further. What's your problem?
It was only a small stint though. Remember, it was only
Yeah,
like a couple
months.
months.
Yep.
Because you probably remember me most of the time as being a pretty reliable driver of the ball. I wasn't always the longest, but I knew I could place it.
Yep.
And it was ironically going through swing changes that the bottom dropped out.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot in here. So there's a correlation because like that's pretty consistent. And so when you have to make a swing plane change or something, and then all of a sudden you can't hit your driver, that's pretty normal. So
Right.
PSA to everyone out there, that's
Yeah.
like don't freak out. That's pretty normal. But one of the ways that we got feel back with it, as extreme as it sounds, is just hitting a women's flex driver for a while.
Yep. Slow it down.
And it was like, all right. And my coach at the time was like, you're gonna lose yardage. That's given, right? This club's not fit to you, so plan to be 40 yards short. Just don't worry about that. But you're not gonna be able to feel any club head any better than this because it's like a damn wet noodle to you, right? Like, and at the time I was quite a bit faster than I am now, and that was amazing because it was like, holy shit, there's the club head.
Yep.
Like, this is way too flexible, and I can only hit it 260. But it was like, okay. And then going back into my driver, which was like an X-Flex, it's like, no wonder I couldn't feel this thing.
Yeah.
Like, the shaft was rigid, and it was built for my speeds, but I was like, where's the club head?
Yeah.
You know? So
No, that
flex.
makes sense.
And then if you tie that into training aids, like, look at how many training aids are based on excessive flex,
Right.
right? Like orange whips, and then like the blue, the lag shot or whatever. Like, there's a lot of crap that's based around extreme
Or
flexibility.
even
and
the
shaft
ones with
strength.
the weighted club heads just have
Yeah.
a whippy shaft.
So as much as I trash talk
Right.
training aids, I mean, there is something to them.
Which
some degree.
I certainly struggled with other areas, but I think because my swing survived off a tempo for 20 years, like
Yeah.
that was one of the few things I did well. And
Best rhythm that I've personally seen in person, a golf swing last as long as it has. You're welcome.
oh wow,
Your rhythm's amazing.
thank you.
That's abnormal. It is, because like most players, it's flighty, right? They have moments. Like, I could do it for a couple months and then it drops off. Like, your rhythm,
Like rhythm tempo, you mean like just
yeah, your rhythm's so good that like even when you were hitting an awful golf shot, it still looked pretty. I was like, that should be good. Oh, never mind. Ball's going out of bounds.
Oh, how did it slice?
Like, oh, your rhythm's gorgeous. Yeah, it's
Aw.
yeah.
That's nice.
Everybody, that's not a secret. You know that, right?
Yeah, I mean, you
Yeah.
watch it swing, it's just like,
Yeah.
dang, I wish I could do that.
But rhythm's really
Turning red, guys. This is getting.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I appreciate
So
it.
what does he suck at? Let's talk about that. Got a lot better at short game too. He's just really an all-around golfer now.
I had to round it out.
He's
spent the
good at everything.
I miss the days when you could hit a ball and you couldn't make a putt.
I don't.
Terrible.
It was brutal, man.
Wow, you should shoot
I've
68,
got some of
but
those
you shot
scorecards.
86.
Yeah, well, yeah, that goes back to our first actual round. What was it? Whispering Pines, I think. And John, I don't. We're not even on a
Wait, you
first
gotta
name.
say it like this. Whispering Pines.
Whispering Pines. Whiskey.
You mean
just
when we
blow
shot
on the
like
ball.
83, 82 or something like that?
Oh, it was worse than
Or
that.
worse
No,
than that.
I remember the score
88,
because you
87.
pissed me off so much. Yeah,
Oh, I did?
you did.
I want to hear this.
We
story.
didn't even. We weren't on a. You know this story. We weren't.
You were
on a-
there.
I just want to hear it again.
You were there. We weren't on a first name basis yet.
enjoy
It was like
pissing
first
people
month
up.
of school,
Oh, really?
and it was me and him, and I want to say Chisholm.
Whispering Pines is the one right next to the airport.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
where
the
we
irony
did-
of the name Whispering Pines, you just hear all day.
Boeing 737.
no doubt, but no, we
Realize that
played
was our
around.
first round together.
It was because we had sat next together in class, a couple classes, and then we got paired up for one of our random Tuesday practice rounds.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it was, I want to say us two, and then Chisholm or somebody else in our group.
Oh, Chisholm was cool.
He was cool as shit.
Yeah.
And I'm just going about playing my round, and I'm not playing very good. And I shot 88, and John shoots an 87, and he's just like, man, innocently enough, he's like, how'd I beat you? You're such a better ball striker. And I was just like, fuck you. I don't even know you, and so that was our jumping off point as our friendship.
And I was like, all right, see you later.
yeah.
It was like a big
John
gulp
didn't think
moment.
anything of it, and it kept me up that night. I was just like, yeah, how did
John can
how did
putt.
he beat me? And it was I was just oblivious. I'm out there as an athlete.
Because I was
swinging a
like, how
golf
did I
club.
beat you?
Yep. And it was pretty easy to see when you 3-putt 7 times.
We talked about that in the other podcast. So we swapped a lot of nines. There was always
And that was
I'd
probably
shoot
one of them.
shitty on the front.
Yeah.
That was actually the commonality, right? I'd shoot shitty on the front, you'd shoot good on the front, and then
Typically.
I'd shoot, and then we'd swap.
And then I'd realize how good I was playing. Be like, oh, don't do that. And
And then I'd be like, all I can do is go up.
well, here we go. Here comes JT coming back to me. Yeah, right where I want him. Yeah,
Wow.
that was a pretty
If it
common
means
theme.
anything, I didn't mean to insult you.
Oh, I know
it
you
was
didn't.
purely factual.
I didn't know you at that time.
I was
and
just
so
factually
the way
saying
that
you should
came
be
off,
kicking my ass.
It was all me. I just took that as well, gosh, this guy doesn't even know me, and he's being critical in that way, or backhanded compliment, however you want to spin
Classic JT.
Classic
everything.
overthinking.
Oh,
Yep.
Overthink everything.
it. 100%. Yep.
And I had moved on with my day 3 minutes later.
Pretty much. Like a freaking golden retriever.
That's how I work, man. That's how I work. That's how I keep myself sane.
It's a good quality.
Yeah.
I've had to unlearn
Dude,
that.
together, fucking dream team.
Best
like,
tour pro
oh.
ever.
Oh, I wasn't talking about golf, but whatever.
Oh, yeah. I went a different direction.
We did have that dynamic at the time, but that's changed though. Because it was like your short game or my short game and your long game, like boom, we're a tour pro.
right. Well,
Without it, we're both awful.
the best quality I had was looking at weaknesses and addressing them. I did that in basketball a lot as a young kid. I remember not being able to run and dribble at the same time in 4th grade and being mortified by that, and not getting playing time. I was like,
You
well,
probably picked that up quick though.
I spent the whole next summer, I'm sure, annoying the crap out of my dad, just dribbling up and down the driveway. and then the next year after 5th grade, it was like, okay, well, what if I had my left hand? And so by 6th grade, man, I was crossing over and looking pretty good. And so when we got to Myrtle Beach, it was like, all right, I'm working on my swing a lot, but my scores really aren't improving. And I didn't have someone taking me through this process. So, a lot of trial and error. And thankfully, because I lived right by Arrowhead, I would go out and putt for an hour at least, every night. And in real time, it's so silly to think now, I thought because I was spending those hours out at Legends hitting balls
I remember
that
those
was
days.
that was what
You
was
and I
getting
went
me
a lot
better.
together.
We did, yeah. We were out there a lot,
Yeah.
hitting thousands of balls over those.
So we were going
days.
through as learning coaches who didn't know what they were doing. We
Yep.
were going through what we preach every day now,
Right.
which is that
We
even
lived
if you
it.
build a good golf swing, that doesn't necessarily mean shit.
Nope.
Like playing good golf is about far more than that.
Start from 100 yards out.
Yeah.
Learn that game from there.
Yeah.
And you'll be great.
The management side of it, which I credit to, you remember at the time the head of TaylorMade?
TaylorMade rep, yeah.
Yeah, he was a big help for that because
Yep.
I didn't really know shit about game management otherwise.
Neither did I.
It was as simple as he opened my eyes to that was before PAT, and we went around and
Yep.
scoped the course, you
Right.
know, and
Kings West.
yeah, and there were moments where he's like, all right, so what are you doing here? And we're on the tee box, and I was like, 3-wood. It's conservative.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, except that hazard on the right side where you miss is right in your landing zone of 3-wood. And I was like, I was like, this guy's an angel. But
That's brilliant.
But that's
Yeah.
basic game management.
It is. That's
And at the
101.
time, I just didn't think
Right.
it doesn't matter that's your strong club. It doesn't matter that you think it's conservative because it's not driver.
Yep.
It's like, if you miss,
You're in
you're
trouble.
right in that fairway bunker. And guess what? You suck at fairway bunker shots.
Funny story, dude. You came back because he came out and played around with you or something out there.
Yeah.
And you were talking about that, and you're going through your notes and stuff, and that's the first time course management came across my vision.
So you
too.
hadn't discovered it yet
no,
either.
not at all. I didn't know what that was. and you're talking through this, and I was just like, oh my God.
Boom, 68.
Right, yeah. And because I worked at Myrtlewood, and
man.
Kings West was under their management umbrella. I got to play there for free. So I played probably 30 rounds of golf at that golf course
Yeah.
leading up to that PAT.
Yeah.
Boring 30 rounds of golf.
It was, yeah. Pretty easy golf course. But I was adamant, I'm going to be medalist. It wasn't that I wanted to pass. I wanted to shoot the low score.
Yeah.
And I remember going
Me
through
too.
4 days in a row. I was going to go play my own tournament
Yeah.
and see what kind of score I could put up. And I went 67, 68, 70, 71 for 4 days. I mean, it was 6,100 yards.
Yeah.
Wide open golf course.
Oh, you're supposed to leave that part out.
It was 7,800 yards.
Bunkers
Torrey
everywhere.
Pines on steroids. No, it was really basic. But that's the way the PAT is designed. For those who aren't aware, the playability test, it's basically the first tee box above 6,000. They put all the pins in the middle, and you effectively have to break 80 twice. And so for us
It
going
depends
out
on the
there,
course,
it does a little bit on course rating. And so
Break-
I just
break
wanted to
76.
have it in my head that there's no chance I'm not scoring below 70.
Yeah.
And the day of looked a lot different.
Yeah.
But that prep work helped me mentally a lot.
Well, that's the pressure of it all.
So it is, yeah. Knowing how many strokes
That's
you have to
that
play with.
alone. It's even if you have the skill by far and away, it's if you're not, if your
Sure.
head game ain't there,
Yeah.
that's any
It wasn't.
tournament, right?
Yep.
The moment someone tells you you have to perform now, you're like, oh shit, I forgot how to do all this crap. It's kind of
How
scary,
do I hold the club?
especially when your caddy has a heat stroke on hole 27.
Oh God.
That doesn't
We'll have
help.
to save that story.
Yeah, for sure.
But
I don't, go ahead.
Well, I had a very different approach to the player's ability test. I was really anxious at that time, just from my headspace that I was in. I was like, I have to perform. And I was like, you know what? I am not going to care at all about this test.
There you go.
And so I didn't play a single round at Kings West before the PAT.
You
hadn't played
To
it.
avoid the buildup altogether.
Just to
Probably
yeah.
smart.
I didn't want to, because what I was afraid of was I'm going to go out and shoot 70, and then I'm going to try and replicate it and get frustrated the second one of my shots goes offline from what I just did
Yeah.
in my practice round.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I practiced the least I'd practiced in Myrtle Beach the week leading up to it. I hardly hit any range balls. I didn't look at any video
Yeah.
of my swing, didn't do anything. I was just like, I'm just going to be comfortable with where I'm at, not going to care, and we're just going to play the round, see what happens.
Yep.
So for all those who don't know, that's basic game management 101. If you can't control your emotions, just
Yeah.
completely ignore them. Like, just don't
Just
care.
go numb.
Just don't care.
Yep.
Yeah, that's like, and that's why you hear about a lot of golfers that say that. Like, oh, I stopped caring and I played better.
Pretty much.
It's like, well, because you stopped stressing.
Yeah.
Because you stopped stressing. You just started hitting golf shots. You know, it's pretty
Now,
simple.
before we wrap up, we have at least one question that involves Joe that we have to get.
Yeah,
to.
so we had a user submitted question.
Sweet.
Feel free to put a comment down below if there's a topic you want to hear us discuss,
Yeah.
golf related or not. You know, we can, probably won't get to all of them, but feel free to comment.
OnlyFans, whatever.
What?
What? Nothing. Keep going.
What was that?
So yeah, we had a user submit a question. I have it here.
Yeah, read this out.
I want to read this out. So, say your husband sucks at golf and gets really upset when you beat him.
Oh, I saw it.
What do you suggest you kind of do about that? Like, what's
This
the
is
solution?
angled at Joe.
So
though.
yeah, we're gonna have to let Joe answer because
Yeah.
this was his
You want me to give
wife's
my first
question.
Oh, that was your wife's question?
First of all, she's a liar. No.
Well, we're bringing this full circle back to the wives.
Right.
Yeah. No, I think she is lying though. I don't think she's ever beaten me. No, but she is really good.
Really, she's a player.
All of them
then.
are good. I mean,
This is true.
they're all
The
athletes.
Tomlinson
man.
sisters are
Joe,
good athletes.
stop working around the question.
Right.
How do you want me to answer it? 'Cause it's like, what do you do?
So how do you manage your emotions as a golfer when
if
your
your
wife
wife's
beats you?
beating you? For me, I don't know, dude. That would get me pretty riled up. If my
Yeah.
wife was beating me,
Unless she was like a tour player.
I would probably start. I'd probably start throwing some jabs at her, trying to get her off her feet a little bit.
Divorce papers.
Trash talk.
Make her putt that 4-footer,
Yeah.
get her all riled up. That's probably what I'd do.
That's funny.
'Cause I know it works.
I didn't realize that was her.
Yeah.
I saw that question, though.
That cracked me up.
That's funny.
Seeing that, I was just like, "That's
She's
too
a
good."
dog for that one.
It makes sense, though, because the Thomasons.
Oh,
holy
100.
cow,
That's their
good.
humor, man. I loved it.
Yeah.
You bet.
Where have they been?
Lifting weights and snowboarding. I
Let's
don't
make
know.
them feel awkward for like 6 seconds. Gracie, where the hell are you? You still have lessons left. Get your ass in here. Get to work. What pissed me off about her was how many times Billy would come in and she'd be like crying, laughing because she'd tell me like, Gracie's just so mad 'cause she like can't get better, but like she wouldn't come see me at all. Like,
Right.
then come see me.
It happens. It happens.
Awesome family.
They're fun.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
They are hilarious.
Yeah.
So anyway, to put a bow on it all, wrap it up. Thanks for watching. If you do need lessons, actually come see us. Commit to a program.
Talk to Brandon
No.
because I don't want to deal with you.
And then again with the
Link in the description.
link in the description. All new equipment too. We got all the new Callaway Paradigm stuff is in house.
Yes,
if
sir.
you're interested in that. And obviously new Mizuno stuff coming. Hopefully Ping stuff coming soon. So
And
come
thank
check us
you.
out at the golf show.
Yes.
We'll be there
Yep.
February
End of the
It'll be
month.
fun.
24th through 26th, Overland Park Conference Center. We'll be there. You can come hang out with us. Meet us in person if you haven't. I'm pretty sure everyone who watches us already knows us. So
And thank you everybody who has soft moment, but thank you everybody who has supported us through
Absolutely, man.
like 9
It's-
years of blood, sweat, and tears.
The build up to this has been rather awesome to see, and then just the support from those who have followed us on this journey is pretty special. It's been pretty cool to see.
We have a long list of lifelong friends.
Yep. Absolutely.
Cool.
and on that sappy note, we'll see you next time.